are a footballer's best friend, even if players like Jack Grealish do wear such small ones you can barely even see them. But what's the story with shin pads, and are there any rules on how big they should be? It all started with cricket, actually. Cricketers had been wearing shin pads since the 1700s. They'd been introduced not for leg protection, but instead to give batters a strategic advantage. The idea was that batters could put their leg pads in front of the wicket if they missed the ball, preventing them from being bowled out. Obviously, that all changed when the LBW rule came in, but that was the theory behind them. It was thanks to this guy that shin protection made its way over to football. Meet Samuel Widdowson. He was a cricketer and a footballer. He played for Nottingham Forest back in the late 1800s, and he wanted a way to protect his legs from nasty tackles. Apparently, he'd broken his leg in a match against Sheffield United in 1874 and wanted to stop it from happening again. Naturally, his mind drifted to his other favourite sport, where players had been wearing these pads. Story goes, Widdowson cut up his cricket pads, sewed them into his socks and popped them on before taking to the footy pitch. Ta-da! Shin pads. Like all great genius inventors, everyone took the mickey at first. To be fair, he probably looked quite stupid running around with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Penistone Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB though. That's why Grealish and co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time, what a volley, what a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
Hello and welcome along. This is the Sunday Session with me, Natalie Sawyer, and the former Arsenal winger that is Perry Groves. Now, it may be an international break, but there's still a show full of sporting action for us to keep you right across. We'll be looking ahead to England's final World Cup qualifier in Albania. We're looking back at that one-sided fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. and a whole lot more as well. But before all that, let's take you around the grounds in what's already been a busy day in the WSL. Aston Villa are taking on the London City Lionesses. Watching this one for us, it's talkSPORT's Dave Rowe.
Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 1. An eventful first half. Kumagai put the visitors ahead after Villa failed to clear a corner. Kirsty Hampton hit the post for the home side, but she was then gifted an equaliser via a big mistake by keeper Leite. At the other end, D'Angelo saved superbly from Alsani, and controversy at the end because the half-time whistle went just as Mullet was going through on goal for Villa. They were furious. Second half about to get underway here. Villa 1, London City Lionesses 1.
Dave, thank you. Over to the West Ham-Everton game and talkSPORT's Ian Abrahams.
4 minutes into the second half, West Ham 2, Everton 0, though West Ham are attacking at the moment, looking to try and get a third goal. First one was an effort from Anouk Denton down the right-hand side, spilled into her own net by Emily Ramsey on her birthday, not something she'll be happy with. And then Amber Tiziak headed the second just before half-time from an Asai corner. West Ham 2, Everton 0.
And talkSPORT's Angelina Kelly will be keeping a close eye on the North London derby as Arsenal welcome Tottenham. It's a 2:30 kickoff. Angelina.
Yes, 5th place Tottenham Hotspur host 4th place Arsenal. Spurs may have only won this derby once back in 2023. With the two sides level on points, it is all to play for, as victory for Martinho's side would mean they would leapfrog their rivals and be in serious conversation for a European place. Meanwhile, it could prove damaging to Arsenal's title aspirations, as it would leave them 9 points behind leaders Manchester City. Kick-off is at 2:30pm. It's Tottenham versus Arsenal.
talkSPORT 2 has a live commentary of Liverpool versus Chelsea. If you want to hear that one, then tune in to talkSPORT 2. You can download the app and then swipe between the two stations. It's currently 1-1. Chelsea, the WSL champions, took the lead in that one early on, but Liverpool have levelled things up as it's now into the second half. Also, one of the other WSL games taking place is between Brighton and Leicester, and Brighton lead that one by 1-0. Elsewhere in the world of football, there's a huge qualifier coming up in Budapest. It really is a winner-takes-all when it comes to this one for Hungary against the Republic of Ireland. We will keep you updated on that one throughout the game, which kicks off at 2 o'clock. We'll also bring you right up to date from the Autumn Nations series as Scotland take on Argentina. talkSPORT's Stuart Cameron will be joining us a little later to keep us right across that. So you know it's going to be busy. We're with you until 4. I'm Natalie Sawyer. It's the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. This is the Sunday Session on talkSPORT. That's a great start.
Hello, Nat.
How you doing?
Would you like a sip of water?
Ooh, this one keeps you on your toes, this one.
That was all with one breath as well. That was.
I know, thank you. Yeah, I tried. How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah,
yes.
Very, very well.
Looking forward to the show. Got loads in it.
Loads coming
Yeah.
up. And obviously we want you to be involved as well in any of the conversations that we're having. It's vital, in fact, that you get in touch, because it'd be great to have your thoughts on everything that we end up chatting about. But how's your weekend been so far?
Yeah, it was good. I had the Luton-Rotherham game yesterday on talkSPORT 2 at Kenilworth. I love going to Kenilworth Road because it's a proper football ground.
Such a throwback.
And the football grounds smell differently to football stadiums. You know, when you get the burgers, you have the onions, can't you? The policeman on horseback, all just like trotting around.
It's that intimacy as well.
Yeah,
of that ground.
and it was very misty, dank, dark. The floodlights were on at 3 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? So it's a proper atmospheric football ground. Unfortunately, even though Luton dominated possession, I think they had 70% possession of the whole game.
Wow.
But they only had 3 shots, and it was very lateral. It was very, go out to left wing, back into midfield, out to right wing with no crosses.
Okay.
But I have to say, Rotherham did unbelievably. They had no fit centre halves. The second half, they had no centre forwards. Both centre forwards went off for injury, Sharif and Hugo. They had 2 young lads playing up front, and they were unbelievably well organised. They were like 5-3-2. I think they call it the medium, a medium block now.
Is that what
it's not the it's
don't come up with a new term. I can't deal with that.
It's not the high press. It's not the low block. It's a medium block. Basically,
Okay.
they sat in their own half and said, "You got to try and break us down."
Okay.
And Luton couldn't. But but I loved. I think there's still bits of my skin from my knees that are on the pitch from when I made my debut for Arsenal when it was the old plastic pitch. Remember, basic with concrete and just a bit of carpet.
Ouch.
And Steve Foster, I went to run across him. I was just come on for the last 20 minutes. I can't believe it. I was playing for Colchester, now I'm playing for Arsenal. And he tripped me up and I went flying. He went, "You're with the big boys now, son."
That's your introduction.
It was, "Don't try and run past me. It's not happening."
Goodness. Happy memories then.
So what I did, I pinged his headband. I went, "Go on, have some of that."
No, you did.
I did, as I run past him.
How old were you doing that?
21. We're very mature.
Chic of you.
We're very mature, us footballers. Very mature.
Sounds it. So it was a goalless draw, that one. Luton 8th in the table. They're 3 points off the playoff positions, and Rotherham 11th. Just 1 point off Luton. So pretty tight, as it all seems to be across the whole of the professional leagues in England, certainly. It's time for us to take a look at the biggest game of the weekend with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The biggest game of the weekend on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
We are going to have to talk about the game that's taking place in Tirana. Albania then against England, the final World Cup qualifier for both sides. Although I say that, Albania are through to the playoffs, aren't they? But a very different story for the Three Lions. Before we get into it, let's hear from our exclusive interview with Thomas Tuchel that made all the back pages this week as our England correspondent Faye Carruthers asked whether or not Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden and Harry Kane can all play in the same starting 11.
Is it going to be a case of someone misses out? So can the three play together, or is that not your thinking? One of them has to kind of come on as an impact sub.
At the moment, if we keep the structure, they cannot play. They can, but not in the structure and not for the balance that we developed, and not for the structure that comes also with wingers who are like specialists in their positions. We play at the moment with a 6, 8, a 10, and a 9. There's a lot of concurrence, especially in the number 10 position. If you think about Phil, who could play there, if you think about Jude, you think about Morgan Rogers, who played fantastic for us in this position. You have Cole Palmer, you have Morgan Gibbs-White. So there's a lot of players, and there is the chance that we will not take everyone, simply to not because we don't like it, not because they don't individually deserve it, but we will always do what's best for the team. We will always do what's best for winning. We will always do what's best for a balance.
Before we talk about that, let's take you straight back to the game between West Ham and Everton in the WSL. There's been another goal. Ian Abrahams.
Game over. West Ham 3, Everton 0. We're 10 minutes into the second half. Ball played in from the left-hand side, and good composed play by Shakira Martinez to just wait for the ball to come out of her feet before slamming it past Emily Ramsey into the back of the net. By the way, Perry going on about old-style football grounds. We're playing here at Dagenham and Redbridge's ground. The smell of chips and vinegar just after half-time was certainly making my mouth water and my tummy rumble. West Ham 3, Everton 0.
Thanks for that, Moose. By the way, West Ham looking for their first win of the season, and what a first win this could turn out to be then against Leicester. We'll keep you updated on all the WSL action, but let's take you back to what we were hearing there from Thomas Tuchel then. And obviously, oh gosh, every time I go to ask you a question, there's another goal. So we've got to go to the game between Aston Villa and London City Lionesses. Dave Rowe.
Visitors back in front here. Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 2. And it's been scored at very close range by Isabel Goodwin. The deep cross on the right-hand side by Fernandez. And Paris still were at the far post to pull it back. And Goodwin was there. And the visitors have the lead once again. Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 2.
So basically, this is the Sunday session that can morph into Sunday Game Day Live.
Yes, it feels like it.
Exactly.
Exactly that. And Brighton are 2-0 up, by the way, against Leicester as well in their game in the WSL. So it is all go, certainly, and you won't miss a thing with us. We'll keep you updated on and that, as we will with the Republic of Ireland and their qualifier in Hungary, which is an all-or-nothing scenario for them to try and secure a playoff spot, certainly. And there's lots more that we'll keep you right on top of. Should we take a break? Is that what we're doing? Or do we have time to carry on? No, we'll carry on for a bit more then.
There'll be a goal somewhere.
I don't know why I bother. Thomas Tuchel then, interesting what he had to say, and quite honest about him, sort of talking about the Bellingham, Foden and Kane situation, that it's impossible for all three, he thinks, to play in the same 11. Certainly with more Foden and I suppose Bellingham in the positions that he would like to see them play, because he said he wants to see Foden as a 10 rather than as a winger. What do you make of it all?
Do you know what I said when Thomas Tuchel was appointed, that I thought it'd be a brilliant appointment because he's an elite manager and he won't be afraid to make big decisions. He won't be afraid to upset egos, which we've already seen prove already with Bellingham. The only thing that I would disagree with him, I know he wants obviously the 4-2-3-1 system and he's talking about 6s and 8s and 10s and whatever. He could. I think that Jude Bellingham could play a little bit deeper and could play with Declan Rice. So then you could have Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden in the 10 or Morgan Reg in the 10 because Declan Rice could do the Anderson job and you give Jude Bellingham the freedom to go and join in from a deeper position, because when you're going to play against teams that are going to sit deep, it's crowded around the 18-yard box. I think Jude Bellingham, he proved when he came on as a sub against Serbia that he's brilliant at breaking through like that midfield area. So, but he's made his mind up that he's not going to play him there. So he's going to play him in the 10, and he will be, if he's fit and he's playing well for Madrid, 100% he will be the starting 10 without any shadow of a doubt, because all the other players you're talking about, Morgan Rogers obviously is,
and Tuchel loves Rogers.
Rogers, he's a top player. Phil Foden, top player. Jude Bellingham is a different level. It's like comparing Ollie Mewers to Robbie Williams. Ollie Mewers, brilliant songs, brilliant entertainer. Robbie Williams has that stardust, you know, when someone's got that X factor.
You're going to upset the Ollie Mewers fan.
No, but I said, comes from Essex, big fan himself, comes from Whittam, used to be like involved with Whittam Football Club and Coggeshall around that area. But Jude Bellingham is one of our few world-class players. You cannot afford not to play a world-class player in your starting 11 because he's got that bit of edge about him, which you want. He's got that, where like, it's me. He's got that about him. He wants to be the star. And if you can rip it up at Real Madrid, where you are analysed to the nth degree, you've got some character. And I think he proved that when he come against, the game stretched out. I think he proved it. And he played like he had something to prove against Serbia.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely did that. OK, that was a look at the biggest game of the weekend with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The biggest game of the weekend on talkSPORT with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
And we'll talk more about England throughout the show, of course, but there has been another goal in the WSL in that game between Aston Villa and the London City Lionesses. Which way has this one gone, Dave Rowe?
Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3. They scored 4 last week, they scored 3 today, and Saki Kumagai has got a second of the game. Once again, Villa unable to deal with the set piece as Lani with the ball in from the left-hand side of the corner. It was flicked on the near post, and going in very bravely with the header was Kumagai to get a second of the game. Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3.
Dave, thank you very much. More updates to come throughout then. Right, it's time for this.
Sounds of the weekend.
This is a journey into sound.
On talkSPORT.
Yeah, our first sounds comes from the England camp. Thomas Tuchel is trying something a little bit different ahead of the World Cup qualifier. This was against Serbia, but something he's probably thinking long term as well. It's handing the squad mind-altering Nike shoes, however you want to say it, that look like Crocs but are supposed to boost concentration in meetings. The England boss openly admits he hasn't a clue how they work, but he's leaning into the idea of marginal gains, something we've seen across all sorts of sports. Sir Dave Brailsford swore by it in cycling, for example. Tuchel says the players have already bought into the unusual footwear, turning up in the odd-looking clogs after being told they help with focus. And he even joked that after commenting on their colour and shape, he was told they were important, so he's ordered the squad to wear them whenever he's delivering instructions. And in true Tuchel fashion, he's even considering wearing them himself in press conferences, insisting he believes in the power of positive thinking.
So basically, they're posh Crocs.
Posh Crocs.
Yeah. And if you imagine, every England player would be wearing them because they wouldn't give Tuchel an excuse. So you ain't got your Crocs on, you ain't playing, son.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not taking it seriously. I've got crocodile shoes.
Nice.
Jimmy Nile.
Yes.
Yes. Kinky boots.
Yeah.
I think it was Hannah Blackman and Patrick McNee. These boots are made for walking.
Yeah.
Nancy Sinatra.
Good choices. But obviously, we want to know yours too. The next sounds is all about the money. Sean Dyche has joked he'd have been a right Burke as a modern-day player on the wages they get, as he shared the story of his first ever pay packet. The Nottingham Forest boss, who returned to his boyhood club last month and has steadied the ship with 2 wins, 2 draws and a defeat in all competitions, is now full steam ahead and is pushing Forest back up the table for owner Evangelos Marinakis, who's invested heavily in big money signings and a rising wage bill. Now, as a trainee, Dyche pocketed just £28.50 a week. That was rising to £35 in his second year. A reminder how dramatically the game has changed. He earned a bit more than you, I reckon.
He was major bundled. We call it being cotchelled, that does. My first pay packet was £17 a week. Oh. And the excitement in the old days, again one for the teenagers, where you had to walk round to the bank at Barclays at Prettygate and write a check out.
A check?
Yeah, a check. Pay yourself 17 quid. And I must admit, I thought I was a millionaire. 17 quid in my pocket. I went and bought Adam the Ant's LP.
Did you? I love that.
Got to be done. I've got Dirty Cash, Stevie V. Money's Too Tight to Mention, Simply Red, and Walk the Line by Johnny Cash.
Ooh.
All a little bit Route 1, but our listeners, they will.
You can come.
They'll blow your Crocs off. Trust me.
Hey, you see, that's what we want on a Sunday. Get involved. Let us know what songs then we should be playing for the sounds of the weekend. Our first songs for our sounds of the weekend are coming right up. But next, we'll be continuing to look ahead to England's trip to Albania here on the Sunday session on talkSPORT. This is the Sunday session and the sounds of the weekend.
You like the first one? Your shoulders are going on the first
I like them,
one, yeah.
and I like ABBA too.
Yeah.
They're both good tunes.
Have you done the ABBA-esque?
No,
No.
I haven't.
No.
You?
No.
Oh.
I've been told it's one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I want to do it.
I'm old school, where I think, why am I paying money to go and see cartoons? I know it's a bit Route 1. Do you know what I mean?
Hologram.
I know, it's not the same thing, but...
It's not The Simpsons.
Yeah. The thing is, I would go to it hoping, I'm convinced that there's going to be one show where they actually come in.
Do you think?
And play. Yeah, exactly,
Imagine.
yeah.
Oh, if you were at that concert.
And an Agnetha, I think, would be in.
Wow. That would be some story, I have to say.
Is it Benny and Bjorn?
Benny and Bjorn, that's right.
Exactly.
Very quickly, off the back of that, I went to see Prince. I don't know if you remember, Prince did like 20-odd nights at the O2.
Right.
And there's the little, at the O2, there's the Indigo nightclub where we went along and they said, before we went into the actual Prince concert, they said, if you want to buy, you can buy after-show tickets. And occasionally Prince comes and performs. And we thought, as young, footloose and fancy-free, we thought, why not do it? Prince came out.
And he did.
And another couple of hours of Prince. It was incredible.
Was he
very lucky?
The artist formerly known as Prince? Or was he
No,
Prince?
he was Prince at the time.
He was Prince?
Yeah.
He hadn't gone into X or whatever he went into?
This was, I think, post the artist formerly. I think he went back to Prince.
And was he Ickle Prince?
He was Ickle.
He's tiny, isn't he?
Little,
but we're talking about Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Some people have presence, don't they? An aura.
And
that's
Bellingham
exactly it. And Bellingham's got it. So he could be our Prince.
Oh,
in more ways than one.
The seamless link. I love what you've done. It's not like you've done radio before.
Do you know what? I've had jelly babies. That's what it is. Blood sugar levels.
The
I'll
E
drop.
numbers.
Exactly. I'll drop.
All right. We don't want that to happen. But look, so they were our Sounds of the Weekend songs. We'll play some more, of course, throughout. But let's get on to Albania against England. And you were mentioning there, as we were referring to Thomas Tuchel saying that Bellingham, Foden and Kane couldn't possibly play in the same 11, that you might see Bellingham drop deeper. I guess playing what more as a number 8, which would mean Rice would then be a 6 in your team. But then what does that mean for Elliot Anderson? Who Thomas Tuchel seems to adore as well.
Exactly. He has been brilliant under Thomas Tuchel. He's taken himself onto a different level. And I thought when we were struggling a little bit against Serbia, it was a little bit sort of bitty, wasn't it? But I thought he was not the only one, but he was the main player that's trying to get himself on the ball and taking it in tight situations. And his passing is always very good. You can tell that he has grown. He's grown in stature from being obviously a main player at Nottingham Forest and going into England and then actually thinking, I belong here. You can tell that he actually he's thriving, on that sort of the pressure of playing for England. So it will be very harsh, but he's not going to. Thomas Tuchel's already said he's not going to. What I think he could do.
Yes, I know.
He's already said he ain't doing it, and you'd have to say that Anderson now is the player in possession of the shirt to play next to Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a given. He's one of the 4 or 5 players that, if they're not fit for England, then we got no chance winning the World Cup. But if 5 of them, 5 main players stay fit, then we have every chance. And Declan Rice is one of those. Because Adam Wharton, I thought, might be a good foil for Declan Rice, but obviously he's had his injuries, so he's got to make sure he has a good season for Palace. But you'd say Anderson was definitely the nailed one in that 6.
Just one more question on this. Obviously, England already through, we know that. But what we're seeing from England clearly is that standards don't slump under Thomas Tuchel. All of these players are fighting for their place in that World Cup squad. So hopefully they'll go into this Albania game with that same mindset. They want break some records as well, no doubt, because there's all sorts of things on the line when it comes to the clean sheets and the victories that they're having. What do you want to see? What's the one change, if there is going to be a change in this England team tonight, that you want to see?
Well, I actually think that we've got a problem in the right side defensive area. I thought, even though Serbia obviously sat deep in the first half, but then when they knew that to win and then they came out at us, it was better for us because we had more spaces to utilise. I still think we look vulnerable down right-hand side because Reece James is a very, very good footballer, but he's not in, we mentioned off air about, not thinking defensively, not thinking what ifs. What if the ball breaks down? What if they break down the right-hand side and I've got to be the covering player coming from our right-hand side? I think actually the better teams we play against, I think Jed Spence is going to be a better option in the right back position. because I think he's better defensively than any other. And he can play left back as well, because he's proved, obviously, Spurs he can play left back. But I think that if everybody's fit, I think it's going to be John Stones and Mark Gahey.
Yeah.
We know that because, it's like a good balance there. So I think the two fullback positions are the ones that are up, definitely, because I'd have put Miles Lewis-Skelly in there, but if he's not playing regularly for Arsenal, Thomas Tuchel's already said that he's going to struggle. O'Reilly did, okay against Serbia. Again, he didn't look out of place. So there's a lot of competition even on that side. If you've got, obviously, Lewis Hall, he's got to get himself in. It's going to be basically, it's going to be a Lewis off, isn't it? You've got Lewis Hall, you've got Rico Lewis, Lewis-Skelly can play. And I'd rather have a left-footed left-back. Because I think it gives you just better balance and the pitch becomes a lot wider. So I think it's the fullback areas that are up for grabs.
I know Anthony Gordon's injured himself as well, but I do like how he and Lewis Hall team up. Sometimes Lewis Hall goes beyond him.
Just when he comes inside, exactly, yeah.
There's a lot to like about that combination as well. But yeah, lots of questions and answers that Thomas Tuchel has to come up with when that final squad is announced. More on England in Albania to come. But up next, we'll be joined by Mr. Boxing himself. That's talkSPORT and DAZN presenter Adeola Depot, who will help us dissect Eubank Jr. versus Ben 2 from last night here on the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Good afternoon. This is the Sunday session. It's a pleasure to have your company. It is Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer, and we're taking you through until 4. And then afterwards, we bring you Albania against England in that final World Cup qualifier for the Three Lions. We'll have plenty of build up to that throughout the show as well. But right now, we're going to look back on what happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Conor Benn finally got the Benn name in lights when it came to the family feud between the Benns and the Eubanks. It turned into quite an emphatic victory as well for Benn. I mean, just from the get-go, he had Eubank on the ropes. That's how it felt.
Well, literally, he had him on the ropes, right?
Yeah.
And we talked to Addy about it. I thought that Eubank was maybe saving himself. And he was like, keeping his energy.
Deeper. Right.
So we can, then you just thought, even after 3 or 4 rounds, you just thought, there's nothing there. There's no energy in him whatsoever. And I think that gave Conor Benn even more confidence because he thought, actually, I can dominate you by being on the front foot, getting in the centre ring, getting my jab out. And he knew that nothing was coming back.
Well, let's speak to Addy Oladipo, who joins us. How you doing, Addy?
Not bad, Natalie. Not bad, Perry. How you guys?
Addy.
How do you assess then that fight?
Perry kind of summed it up really well. I was there thinking, okay, maybe Eubanks playing possum with us.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to figure out Conor for the first couple of rounds, let Conor sort of get rid of his gas tank and then Eubank come on strong. But as the rounds kind of went on, you're like, okay, is Eubank going to do anything here? Is he? And then you just realize there's nothing there. It was almost like a Ferrari, engine. It looked like it had something, but ultimately there was nothing there. There was no reserves to go to like there was back in April. And Father Time can get you in boxing very quickly. You can have the best training camp, you can feel good, you can eat well, you can rest, you can sleep. Once you go under the bright lights and it's time to do it for real, it can just go. And it felt like that moment for Chris Eubank Jr. I've seen so many fighters have those moments, and I felt like I was watching a Chris Eubank Jr. moment where there's just nothing there.
Do you know what it was, Addy? I'm watching it and I'm thinking even Chris Eubank Jr. would have known from the probably halfway through the second round, when you think the first round is like, oh, maybe my adrenaline, needs to get kicked in, I'm going to be all right, and then I get into it. He didn't know halfway through the second round of think, he went into survival mode and then hoping that he might have a haymaker or, to end around. But he would have known that himself. That must be a really, really tough position for a fighter to be in, to know that they can't actually perform to the levels they want to perform to.
Yeah, when you can't do things that 5 years ago you can easily do, you just can't pull the trigger. That's the phrase they normally use, or the saying they use. And you're right, he would have known from rounds 2, 3 onwards, like, I just can't do it. The legs are not there. I can't keep this kid off me who's younger, maybe even a bit bigger, stronger, hungrier as well. And there's nothing I can do about it. And look, to his credit, he rallied. He had a couple of good moments in rounds 8 and 9. He landed a couple of good shots. But that was almost like the last throw of the dice. And when that didn't work, he was, as I think you both said at the start, almost just sitting on the ropes like a sitting duck. And Ben was just having his way and teeing off with him. It was almost a bit sad to see because I've watched Eubank since the get-go. And that Eubank is brash, he's throwing combinations, he's there, he's in your face, he's arrogant. This Eubank was a shell of himself. Yes, it was Eubank in there, but not the Eubank that I've watched for the last 10 years or so.
Well, let's get some more reaction to this because our team last night had their usual debrief, as you can imagine, and Dave Allen had this to say about Chris Eubank Jr.
These are my honest thoughts, right? I think Conor Benn's sound, like I know him quite well. Eubank shot to bits, done, finished, terrible. He was awful, he was terrible. I'm not a great fighter, but he was terrible by his standards. He was awful, he was terrible, he was shot to bits, his balance is gone. Every time he got hit in the head, he looked startled and looked like he didn't want to be there. His jab, he was snatching at it, he didn't want to get it.
Well, you can hear the full Fight Night Daily on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Spencer Oliver afterwards also was basically saying that's the end for Chris Eubank Jr. Do you agree with that, Addy?
Yeah, I do. It's a dangerous sport, Natalie, and I've always said, look, get in, get rich, and get out. Mm-hmm. He's made a lot of money. I mean, there are sort of rumours going around about the numbers being close to 20 million for both fights. That's a lot of money. You can get out now. Obviously, we know that he's going to be a father of twins. So hopefully he's made enough to kind of, I'm sure he's made enough. He's made enough to move on from the sport and just focus on family and maybe sort of stay in and around boxing but not in the ring. It's very difficult for him. Even if he were to move up, and people say, no, move up to 168, there's a small matter of Terence Crawford, there's Canelo, there's Hamza Shiraz, there's Sharks waiting for him at 168 as well. So I think it's enough, but boxers, they never know when to retire. I've been saying Chisora should retire 10 years ago. He's still going. So these fighters are the last people to call it quits. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has another fight or two, but I personally think he should walk away.
Do you know what, as well, I have to say, we don't want to distract from the performance of Conor Benn, because obviously tactically he was excellent. He's better on his feet, wasn't he? His jab was far better. I thought he looked in probably better shape, where maybe his emotions got him in the first fight, where it was just because, right, this is going to be a tear-up. So I think he approached this like a boxing match rather than a fighting match. But also, I want to give Chris Eubank Jr. a little bit of credit for that. I think that, one, when he looked like he was going to get knocked out in the last round, his pride got him through it. He didn't want to, you know what I mean? He didn't want to get, obviously, knocked out. But I thought that he showed a lot of class at the end of the fight. Now, there was a clip with his dad talking to him. We don't know what his dad said, whatever. But the way that he conducts himself afterwards, and obviously gave all the credit to Conor Benn because he didn't want to take it away from him. I thought he showed a lot of class after the fight.
That's how he is. That's who he is. That's the Chris Eubank Jr. I've always known. That's why the egg slap last April was so not what we're used to seeing from Chris Eubank Jr. That doesn't surprise me, the interview after. He's a class act. I think he's handled himself so well throughout the build-up. He's been the star of the show. Let's not sort of joke around. It's all been about Chris Eubank Jr. Senior's jumped on as well, but the way in which he's handled Eddie in the press conferences, the way in which he's dealt with Nigel and Conor Benn, he's been great. And to your first point, yeah, you're right. We do need to give Conor some credit. All the narrative, and I'm to blame as well. Everyone's spinning that Chris Eubank Jr. is done. Well, one second, you've got to prove the guy's done, and Conor did that. Conor was fantastic. Tony Sims had a perfect game plan, and Conor executed that game plan to a T. He made the old man feel old. And now Conor's the new star of British boxing. Boxing's in a place where, Anthony Joshua's gone soon, Fury's gone, Chisora's gone. We need new stars. And Conor, he had that issue a couple of years ago, could be that star. He sold out the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 60,000 twice. And we need to get behind him, because I thought that was a magnificent performance. And he's conducted himself well as well throughout fight week.
Do you know what as well? The ring walks have gone to a different level. the ring, honestly, they were on the ring works. Normally, I've obviously paid for it on DAZN. I'm watching it, and normally you go to the kitchen, don't you? You get yourself a little snacks and the ring walk, and you think, no, I have. This is now. It's must watch.
Like the Super Bowl halftime.
Exactly. You have to now watch the ring walks, Addy. They were different level.
But Addy, let me
ask.
Were there.
Sorry,
go on. No, tell us. You were there. Go on.
So we were there. I got there about 2:00. And normally the fighters do their ring walk rehearsals, or at least not the fighters, but you know who's going to ring walk. And they were keeping Chris's ring walk up, like no one would tell us what's going on. I'm like, okay, who's it going to be? Like whispers. And they're like, oh, it's a big rapper. So immediately I'm thinking a UK rapper, maybe a Stormzy or a Kano. When 50 Cent walked out, I lost my mind. It took me back to the days of clubbing when I was 20. It was incredible.
Do you know what, Addy, though? When they do those ring walks, right, your dad should not be allowed to dance.
Oh.
Like, honestly, Nigel Benn trying to dance, sort of a bit isolated.
Are you going to tell him he can't dance?
And Chris Eubank Jr., you're like, no. Guys, that ship has sailed.
Addy, I've got to ask you two questions really in one, in the sense of, are we going to get a trilogy? I know Eddie Hearn said no, but do you think there is a possibility of a trilogy, even though we've already said that perhaps it's all over for Chris Eubank Jr.? And if not, what next for Conor Benn?
Yeah, no, I think is the answer for the trilogy. I mean, you're right. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in boxing. It is the wild, wild west. There's enough money. It makes sense. But I hope it doesn't happen just because of the age and the weight difference as well. The idea of asking Chris to try and make middleweight again is crazy. And for Conor Benn, he needs to go back down to 147. I don't know if he can make welterweight, but that's where he should go, because there are so many big fights against a few loudmouth Americans, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. There's a guy in Ireland called Lewis Crocker who's got a world title as well. So there are so many big fights, but also big money fights for Conor if he can make welterweight. And I think that's where he should land. I think he's naturally quite small. I've been around him for a few years. He's a small guy who put on a lot of size for this fight. He needs to strip away all that muscle and get back to his normal landing spot. And hopefully we can have more big fights in the Tottenham Hotspur
Do you
Stadium.
see, very quickly, do you see enough of him to become a world champion?
Yes, I do. I really do think that the welterweight division isn't hot right now in terms of talent. In terms of names, yes, but talent, no. And I think he can be in the mix of any of the world champions in that division.
Super. Addy, thank you. It's great to have you
Cheers,
on.
guys.
Cheers, Addy.
Thank you.
OK, we've got another goal to bring you in that game between West Ham and Everton. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago, West Ham 3, Everton 1. Free kick taken to the far post and headed across goal for the substitute Katiana Snollers to put into the back of the net. It won't matter. It won't change the outcome of the game. West Ham will win, but it does take away the clean sheet that they had. West Ham 3, Everton 1. Couple of minutes left.
And Leicester pulled a goal back at Brighton, but the hosts still lead 2-1 in that game as well. More updates to come here on the Sunday session, and we'll bring you the full times as they happen from the WSL. And there's a load of sport for us to get through. This is the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money.
Nice.
Has she changed that?
Yes. Yes, look at you.
Down with the kids.
So contemporary. These were just some of the selections that you have sent in on our Sounds of the Weekend. The two stories were the new magic shoes that England are using to help sort of digest knowledge, so they say.
Posh Crocs.
Posh Crocs, as you like to call them. And Sean Dyche also admitting he'd be a Burke if he had the money players have in today's game when he first started as a youngster.
That means he'd be like a big-time Charlie. That's what he means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be spending a lot.
He'd maybe act a bit differently.
Which you could understand why some people might go down that route.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of money like they do these days. Yeah. You've got to have good people around you to help advise you.
To tell you to stop being a Burke.
Yeah.
And you're not always right. Yeah. And the world doesn't revolve around your axis.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, thank you very much, Stephen in Wolverhampton, for the Nancy.
Very posh. Nancy
Sinatra suggestion. Yeah. And also Sharon in Lincolnshire for Jessie J's price tag. You said that with your first wage packet that you earned, that you spent it on...
Adam the Ants. Adam the Ants, yeah, one I got there. I think it might have been the second album after Kings of the Wild Frontier, because he was my hero for a little while. He was beyond cool.
Are you going to admit another job that you were telling us about?
Yes, I will, because obviously when you're like 13, 14, quite rightly, my dad used to say, you've got to go and earn your own money, because then you know what the value of money is. If I give you a £5 and you spend it, it don't mean anything. If you've earned that money yourself, then you might not spend it as quickly.
Yeah.
Because you know what. So all my mates were doing paper rounds, getting up at silly o'clock in the morning on weekdays, before they went to school. Milk rounds, the old day again, doing milk rounds on a Saturday and a Sunday. And I'm like, I ain't getting up that early. So I became a professional babysitter. So it wasn't just for family or people that I knew. I put an advert in the Suffolk Free Press saying, want a babysitter. Obviously, in the old days, it was your landline number.
Did that cost you to put that out?
Yeah. I think it was about £1.50 to put the advert in. And so you have to put your landline number in, because obviously no mobile phones.
Yep.
And I just put a caveat. I said weekdays was a certain price, weekends was a certain price. I think I was £1.50 an hour, or so close to there.
Yeah.
And I put a caveat in and it said, but no children under 4, because I ain't changing nappies. But it's a random thing. I used to do babysitting duties, and it was for people that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was 14, looking after their children. But then once you do a good job, then they know all them. Exactly.
Yes.
You get recommendations.
That's
and they
exactly
say, you want to get that ginger, what's his name? Jerry or something. A ginger one lives in Ivory Way. Yeah. So I used to do probably
so true, though.
2 or 3 a week, and put all the cash into a jar and see the cash sort of mount up.
Babysitting, that was the best. I used to be a babysitter.
Sorry, it's called childminding.
Childminding, but I mean, I called it babysitting when I was young. And also, but it's the best in word of mouth. You're absolutely right. You'd get like, these family, they love Natalie's great.
Yeah.
You've got to use Natalie, and then you'd be like, quid's in.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm trying to think what I might have bought with my first bit of money that I would have earned from something like that. I imagine it was for music, and I'm thinking Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusion, part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
On cassette, obviously.
Obviously, you're of a younger vintage than myself, right?
Slightly.
Was your vintage still go to the record shop?
Our price.
And you put the headphones on,
Yes.
and you could go into a booth and listen to the record that you might want to buy.
That. Absolutely.
And then pretend that you might buy another one, and just stay in there for about half hour, and people banging on the door going, any danger? I want to get in there and listen to my record.
I used to love all that stuff. I used to love going in and just buying a single.
Yeah.
Because it was the most exciting, whatever song it was of that time that you thought, I need to have that. And you think about how much plastic cassette tapes we must all have lying around because of those singles,
and
then CDs and vinyls.
And vinyls.
At least vinyls are all in fashion. I'm not sure so much cassette tapes are.
No.
Although some people might still use them. So that's what we're asking for you as well. Not only asking for your sounds of the weekend, but we're asking for what did you buy?
How much was your first wage packet?
How much?
When you could have been, it could have been like, your part-time job when you was 14, 15, or your first... Mine was called apprentices, but then they went on to YTS, I think it was.
Okay, yeah. So what did you splurge on?
Yeah, what was your pay packet? Did you get paid weekly or month? Because sometimes it was 4 weekly, so you had to wait, didn't you, for like 4 weeks. So you used to borrow money off your mum and dad before. So he was already in debt before you got your first wages.
That's what we want to hear from you then. 81089 is the text number. You can WhatsApp us as well on 03717 22 3344 then. On the first pay packet that you got, what did you treat yourself to? Because there is something about it, isn't there? When you get that first money through your it's through your bank or however you got it, and you just thought, I need to treat myself. So let us know. Right, let's get you to some full-time scores, shall we, in the WSL. It is all over between West Ham and Everton. Ian Abrahams.
West Ham 3, Everton 1, a first win of the season in the WSL then for West Ham, who move off the bottom, ahead just before half-time when a dented ball in from the right-hand side was spilled into her own net by the Everton goalkeeper Emily Ramsey. Not a happy birthday for her, and the lead was soon doubled when Amber Tiziak from close range powered in a header. It was game, set and match early in the second half when Shakira Martinez from 6 yards out slammed the ball home. She later had a goal disallowed for offside, and there was a late consolation for Everton when Schnoys from close range put the ball into the back of the net. Little consolation though for Everton. For West Ham, finally their league season is up and running. It's West Ham 3, Everton 1.
Ian, thank you. That moves West Ham then off the bottom of the table. It's Liverpool that prop up the WSL. That is despite them earning a draw with the WSL champions Chelsea, and they came from behind to do that. 1-1, that has now finished, and it means Chelsea are, 3 points off top spot. Manchester City do lead the way. Chelsea unbeaten in their 9 games so far, but 3 draws. Pretty costly.
That is the big shock. Chelsea being held by Liverpool. You said they're obviously bottom of the league. So without playing Man City, they've had a really good day today. Yeah. You said there, Chelsea maybe just lost that little bit of aura, that little bit of invincibility where you say they've drawn the 3 games. And the standard now at the top with Man City, obviously Arsenal were very inconsistent at the moment, but in the past Chelsea maybe would have been able to draw those games downbeat and still be top by a few points. Now you said they're 3 points off the top. Man City flying.
Yeah, that's after City won the Manchester derby yesterday 3-0. There is also a North London derby to come. You mentioned the inconsistency of Arsenal. They're taking on Tottenham at Tottenham later. We'll have reports throughout that one as well. We'll bring you all the full-time results from the WSL and plenty more as well as we discuss the managerial appointment that has had the whole of English football talking.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City dry cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time. What a volley! What a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
Yeah, this is the Sunday Session with me, Natalie Sawyer, and the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. Let's get to the full-time scores, shall we, from the WSL. Over on talkSPORT 2, Liverpool and Chelsea played out a 1-1 draw. West Ham beat Everton 3-1. That was a first win of the season for them and moves them off the bottom of the table. Aston Villa took on the London City Lionesses, and talkSPORT's Dave Rowe was watching this one.
Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3. Back-to-back wins for the WSL newcomers, who are strong from set pieces and deserve their result. Saki Kermagai put them ahead in the early stages. That was captained out by Kirsty Hansen by mistake by keeper Lete, but 2 quick-fire goals after the break settled the match. Isabel Goodwin at close range from a Paris pullback, and then Kermagai for the second time heading in from a corner. That's now 5 wins for the Lionesses, and Villa still haven't won at home. Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3.
And there was a big win for Brighton as well, as they beat Leicester 4-1. There is one more game to come. It sees Tottenham welcome Arsenal in a North London derby. This one kicking off at 2:30. talkSPORT's Angelina Kelly has the team news for us. Angelina.
Tottenham are unchanged since their 4-2 defeat to London City Lionesses last weekend. New signing Tinka Tamberg, who has scored 4 WSL goals in 8 games, keeps her place in the 11 over captain Beth England. Arsenal make just one change to the side that lost 3-2 to Bayern Munich in the Champions League midweek, and it's Kyra Cooney-Cross who makes her first WSL start this season. She replaces Victoria Pelova, both of whom have been filling in for their captain Kim Little, who is out injured. Kickoff is at 2:30 p.m. It's Tottenham versus Arsenal.
Angelina, thank you. Angelina, just to ask you about some of those results then that we've just brought everybody in the WSL. The standout one will be the point that Liverpool have earned against Chelsea. A third draw for Chelsea as well. What's happened to them this season?
You know what? It's really interesting. I've watched Chelsea a couple of times so far this season, and it just seems like they're not at their best. They've still been grinding out some results, but they just don't look to be firing on all cylinders. And you think about the squad depth that they've had, it's a massive, massive point for Liverpool, and it's even bigger for Manchester City, because you look at Arsenal, you look at Chelsea, you think, you know, they're the top two, Arsenal being champions of Europe, of course, but Manchester City, the quality that they have, and to get that 3-0 win over Manchester United in the derby, it's huge. But yeah, for Chelsea, things just aren't quite clicking, it seems to be, and Sonia Bonpastor will not be happy with this. You know, the second draw in a row in the WSL, she will want to see improvements, and fast.
Angelina, we'll chat to you more in just a moment, but we'll also have to keep you up to date with the Autumn Nation series that is taking place, and Scotland are hosting Argentina. talkSPORT's Stuart Cameron will be watching this one for us.
Yes, welcome to Murrayfield for the third of 4 home internationals for Scotland, and after a narrow defeat against the All Blacks last weekend, the pressure is on Scotland to deliver a winning performance today against Argentina. It would help them in their bid to be a seeded team in the World Cup. Scotland have a good record against the Argentinians, winning 10 of the last 14 encounters. Argentina, though, come here on a roll. They beat Wales 52-28 last Sunday. So this is certainly going to be a test match, and it's a milestone for Darcy Graham today. 50 caps for him. He's the joint holder of the Scottish record for scoring tries with Joanne van der Merwe, who's back on the bench today. Kick-off 3:10.
Stuart, thank you very much. We'll also keep you up to date with how the Republic of Ireland are faring in Hungary, in which is pretty much an all-or-nothing game for them if they are to secure a World Cup playoff tie. After that superb win over Portugal on Thursday has kept their hopes alive of qualification. So it's a busy show. The Sunday Sessions right here on talkSPORT. OK, let's take you back, shall we, to Angelina for more on what is happening in the WSL, because we've had a lot of games. It's been eventful as well. We've talked a little bit about Chelsea. I suppose a quick word on Liverpool, because West Ham's victory today, their first of the season, means that Liverpool now are bottom of the table. It's been a difficult season for them.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I'll be honest, since the first couple of games of the WSL, I've looked at Liverpool and I've felt very, very concerned for them. The fact that they sold Olivia Smith to Arsenal for that record, she became the first £1 million signing. They got a very big profit from that, and I don't think that Liverpool have invested too well. They've obviously brought in Gareth Taylor, who was at Manchester City. He had spells of great success there, but, he also had issues like the Chloe Kelly situation. She left Manchester City to go on loan to Arsenal and ultimately re-sign with them. He wasn't playing her. I'm not completely convinced by him, if I'm being completely honest. But, yeah, it's a shame. You look at a team like Liverpool, and just the name Liverpool Football Club is so big. You want them in the WSL. You want them competing. But it has simply not been good enough from them overall. But to get this point against Chelsea, you have to give them their props. Like I say, Chelsea haven't been amazing, but it's still Chelsea. They are unbeaten in the WSL in something like over 555 days, just to put it into perspective. So they will be happy with that. And hopefully it can start a little bit of momentum for them now and give them some much needed confidence.
Angela, you've got to have a massive shout out for London City Lionesses, because beginning of the season everybody thought they might sort of ruffle a few feathers. They started slowly, didn't they? But another big win away at Aston Villa, and they are playing now like they believe they belong at the top level. But do you think they actually, with the financial backing they have, do you think they could go on to another level?
I really do. I mean, again, watched a fair bit of London City Lionesses, and they had a tough start to the season. They've already faced Manchester City, they faced Arsenal on the opening day, they faced Manchester United. And it's obviously going to be a struggle playing those teams. And you factor in, they brought in, including loans, 17 new players. And the manager has repeatedly said, this is my biggest headache of getting these players to gel. And after they lost to Manchester United, Nikita Parris, their striker, she said, give us time. And when this team clicks, I am telling you now, we will click. Because as much as they've got players, they've got Real Madrid's first Galactica signing as their captain. They've got Barcelona players, etc. Not a lot of them have WSL experience. So it does seem like it is starting to click, and I watched them against Chelsea. They did lose that game 2-0, but they looked really, really good. Chelsea, I think the scoreline flattered them. It was Sam Kerr who got an injury time goal to make it 2-0. They looked good in that game, and to then get the win over Tottenham and to then get this win today, it's looking really good for them. Villa, who they faced, they hadn't lost a game before the end of September before this and had been in a great vein of form. So yeah, to get that win, I've got big hopes for London City Lionesses. Do I think they're going to be lifting a WSL title anytime soon? Probably not. But I think if they can finish strong this season and then keep pushing and maybe be competing for European position at some point.
Angelina, thank you for now. We'll be back with you for updates then from that North London derby as Arsenal and Tottenham look to take advantage of Manchester United's defeat to City yesterday and get into the Champions League places. But right now, let's talk domestic matters in the Premier League. Rob Edwards, of course, as we know, this week was named the new Wolves manager, leaving Middlesbrough after a short tenure, shall we say. We're going to hear from Simon Jordan in just a moment, but I want to bring you this statement that Rob Edwards put out after it was all finalised. And this is what he said. He said, "This has been one of the toughest decisions of my career. I wouldn't have considered leaving Middlesbrough for any other club. Wolves is a special club for me. It's where I grew as both a player and a coach. It's still where my family calls home. It has always been my dream to come back, and these opportunities do not come around too often. Middlesbrough is an incredible club with a fantastic owner, staff and passionate supporters. I want to thank everyone at the club for the opportunity to lead this squad. It is a great group of players that I genuinely hope and believe will deliver success this season. I could not be prouder of the environment we built together and how it all gelled together so quickly. The players, the staff and the fans who drive it all." He said, "I sincerely wish everyone at Middlesbrough all the very best for the rest of the season and beyond." Right, before we get your thoughts on it all, Perry, let's hear then from Simon Jordan, who, as you can imagine, has been quite outspoken on this. He said, leaving Middlesbrough for struggling Wolves, Rob Edwards that is, he was not happy. He did not hold back.
If Middlesbrough fired him, they have to pay him. If they fired him, they gave him a 3-year contract. Now, that would have been caveated slightly, so they didn't have to pay the full 3 years if he was a roaring failure. But they would have had to pay him something. In this instance, they brought him in, they gave him a job on the back of the fact that, I remember watching him, with due respect to him, I think he did remarkably well to get Luton promoted. I watched a documentary that he was part of, and I came away with a completely different impression of him than I had originally. I thought he was a bit of a flake. And of course, last year, Luton's team dropped into the relegation zone and got relegated. So he's lucky to get a great job like Middlesbrough, working for a great chairman like Steve Gibson, who's been unequivocal in his support of Middlesbrough for 30 years. And now he's going to go to a club that I think is a crap job, quite frankly. I think they're in free fall. I think they don't have a squad of players that's going to keep them in the Premier League. I don't think they have a culture motivated to be able to give managers the kind of support that they need on the field, because all their best players are being sold left, right and centre because they've got to fulfil different outcomes than perhaps the original motivation of Fosun and their ownership model.
It is an appointment that has sparked a lot of debate, Perry. So, are you in one side of one corner in this
Simon
one?
down off that fence. That's that Simon Jordan with his owner's head on.
I think
his
it
chairman's
was.
head on.
But who's been scarred, I think, in the past.
But I must admit, I get the football side thinking of it, because Middlesbrough is a very, very well-run football club, very stable. Steve Gibson just wants the best for the football club. It's not about ego, and it's not about look what I can do. And even in his statement there, Rob Edwards was saying about Middlesbrough, he said the coming together of the players, the staff, the fans, the owner, the environment, that is completely the opposite end of the scale from Wolverhampton Wanderers, what he's going into. So he's got to start all that and get that going again, because it's a fractured football club at the moment. Football side of it, I must admit, I don't think it makes any sense because of the structure of the football club, because of the stability with Wolves. But going to Wolves, he's on a no-lose situation, because if they go down, which I think they will do, we'll talk about the squad in a minute, it's not his fault because they're not his players.
Yeah.
And he's gone in there where they're got 2 points, after 11 games, where they've stunk the place out. I would imagine that with Fosun, with the owners, he would have a clause in his contract that guarantees, if he hasn't, then his agent hasn't done his job properly, that guarantees him that he will not be sacked if they get relegated.
I was going to ask you that. Right, okay. Yep,
because
that makes sense.
Because then it looks like their appointment is, right, we've got a manager who knows the Championship, who's proven in the Championship, who's taken a team like Luton up on a really tight budget, nowhere near the biggest spenders in the Championship. So he's got experience there. So from that side of it, it makes sense. But from his own career point of view, and I know that he said, obviously, he played for 4 seasons for Wolves in the Championship, as a player. He went there, I think he had a caretaker spell, was in 2 games in charge, and then Paul Lambert, he was his number 2. His family obviously live around locally. So he said he got the ties. It's not the only club that he'd have left Middlesbrough for, because if someone like Aston Villa come in for him, he goes there in a heartbeat. So you think that's not like a true statement. I think he's put himself under a lot of pressure, which he didn't need to do, because at Middlesbrough, as he said there, he got the whole culture sorted out. Middlesbrough looked like if they didn't go up automatically, that they'd at least get themselves in the playoffs. It'd be backed in the January transfer window by Middlesbrough if they had a chance of going up. So and obviously, let's be honest, on a personal level, he's probably going to double or treble his money as well. So whatever anybody says, that does make a difference, when you're leaving. But yeah, it's a gamble for his own reputation. It's a big gamble that at this stage of his manager, I don't think he needed to take. But obviously, he's got confidence in himself that if he doesn't turn it round, it'll improve the culture there. And if they do go down, they'll be going down with a fight. And obviously, he's remit to get them straight back up next season.
Do you think they're done?
Yeah. If we look at their recruitment, they brought, if you don't include Strand Larsen, obviously I thought did really well last season. I think he got 14 Premier League goals. They brought in 5 players, all from between 10 million and 22 million, with young players with no Premier League experience. So I look at that Wolves group, and I don't see any natural leaders. I don't see where the inspiration is they're going to get, for imagination and creating goals. Strand Larsen looks a shell of the player that he did look last season. Maybe that's because the environment he's in. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get out. I think they're done, I must admit. They're big. If I was a Wolves fan, I was thinking, let's get more than 11 points. Because everybody always says about Derby County, they like the least points that you've got. So, and I think his Luton side that went down is a better side than what this Wolves side is. If you think they had players like Ross Barkley in the Luton side, Adebayo up front, who scored, I think he got 10 league goals. Carter Morris got 11 Premier League goals. Andros Townsend, who had experience, who went there. You had Alfie Doughty on the left-hand side. They had some good players who gave it a right go in the Premier League, but then they went big-time Charlie when they dropped down to Championship. That's why they got relegated before. So I think the Luton group of players that he had was a better quality squad than what he's going in at Wolves.
Well, it is a big job, without a doubt. You're saying, I mean, look at the 11 points. They've got 9 points to get if they are to at least avoid that. They are, as we say, bottom of the table on 2 points, like you've mentioned, from 11 games. It does feel like a sorry state of affairs. I find it a really difficult one in terms of where do I sit on this one, because I just know there's no loyalty in football. Every club poaches someone at some stage. It just
there is that fans.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
It's the only thing.
Absolutely,
that is
right.
the only
You are
thing.
Absolutely
is
right.
Fans. That's the only thing that's loyal.
Yeah,
only thing.
And I do agree
Period.
with you on that. Absolutely. I feel sorry for Middlesbrough and Middlesbrough fans, because you don't want to be in this position where you feel like you're riding an amazing wave, and now you're like, well, where do we go from here? Who are we going to turn to? Who's going to lead us on this charge that we were hoping to see us back in the Premier League? And it's a huge risk for Rob Edwards. It really is. But I do get the family ties. I also don't think that is a good enough reason to leave Middlesbrough based on the fact that, well, you took the Borough job knowing that your family are based in the Midlands. So I don't really get that either. But equally, like I say, I get the tie, I get the pull to Wolves. It's a difficult one. And I have sympathy all round for everybody involved, I have to say. But it's
I think
a
he's
huge...
put himself under pressure. I think he's put him...
Well, he has.
Not just professionally, but personally, because if it doesn't go well at Wolves and they get relegated and then they don't get themselves
it's a no-lose situation.
No, for that is, but then when he leaves Wolves, then if he's in for other jobs, other owners and chairmen of football clubs are going to think, hold on a minute.
I don't think they
if
do.
he comes to us, is he going to do one as quickly as what he did when he was at Middlesbrough? And the other thing is, he had carnage at Watford. You know, when someone's experienced, he went to Watford and had that carnage at what I think he got the sack after like 10 games.
It wasn't very long there, yeah, absolutely. And then Luton picked him up.
Yeah, so he's had that. So
I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. But we talk about that all the time with certain behaviours. You know, you look at this summer and what happened with Isak and what Wissa did, and even to an extent Gyökeres. But Arsenal still wanted Gyökeres. Liverpool still wanted Isak. Newcastle still wanted Wissa. It doesn't put anybody off at the end of the day, some of these behaviours. And, you know, you're right. Maybe it's different with managers, because I think you can be tarnished a lot quicker and easier when we know that football players are more assets than anything else. But, yeah, it's a risk all round. It's a risk for Wolves as well, because they're hoping, I'm sure, that he might be able to turn things around and at least give them a fight to stay up.
And also, as a Wolves fan, you'd be hoping that Rob Edwards has gone there and they've given the guarantee that they're going to spend money in January, even if they don't look like they've got a chance, obviously, staying in the Premier League, because they need probably 4 or 5 players. And he has to have the main say that the players that are coming in.
I'm keeping across the Hungary Republic of Ireland game. Hungary have scored an early goal. That one came through Lukasz, but I think the Republic of Ireland have got a penalty. And it's Troy Parrott who is stepping up to take this one, which would level things up. Remember, the Republic of Ireland have to win this one to secure a playoff spot. But Hungary, it's a slightly different scenario for them, knowing that, Parrott has scored it as well. So it's 1-1.
3-2. Got his brace against Portugal. He's on fire.
There you go. And Portugal do lead Armenia by 1-0, which does mean that Portugal will secure the group. But a draw would be good enough for Hungary to secure that playoff position. But it's all to play for in Budapest. We'll continue to keep you up to date on all of that. And we'll be bringing you a flavour of the atmosphere in Tirana, Albania, ahead of England's match there that follows us later here on talkSPORT. But this is the Sunday Session.
Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. Well, you can do anything but
Get away. This is the Sunday session, and it is a pleasure to have your company. It's Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer taking you through until 4, and we're just playing a couple of tunes of our Sounds of the Weekend stories. We started off there with a bit of Blue Suede Shoes from the King, Elvis Presley. That was from Simon in North London, as we were talking about these weird and wacky croc-type Nike, Nike shoes that the England team are using that is meant to be helping them. What's it meant to do? Take in knowledge of somehow.
And I think it's on your recovery as well. Helps you.
But just
recover.
basic.
Yes,
wacky.
Bit of zen going on where it calms you
Some
down, keeps the blood pumping around your body.
Very clever.
I think it's got little stimuli in the soles of the Crocs, which goes into the bottom of your feet.
Very clever. Modern technology, eh?
Yeah, but this is some sports scientist has just made it up and gone on to it.
I know. Well, you've got to revolutionise something.
Prickle the soles of your feet and then you'll recover a lot quicker. But even if it's the placebo effect where it makes you think that you're recovering quicker,
you'll take it.
And it's better for you. Exactly, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
And the second song, Pink Floyd with Money there, that based on the Sean Dyche story, who he claims that if he was earning the money, certainly when he started his footballing career, as players do these days, he would have been a bit of a Burke and wouldn't have perhaps been clever with his money spend, perhaps.
I love Sean Dyche because he is a throwback in some ways. And when was the last time you heard Burke?
I know.
Burke is a proper...
It's one of these
80s,
words,
90s.
as I'm saying, I'm like, should I be saying the word Burke? Yeah. It feels like it's wrong. But anyway, right. We will talk about Albania, England in just a moment, but I want to run you through what's happening in the World Cup qualifiers. Group F is coming to a close right now in the sense that the 2 games have kicked off. Hungary-Ireland is 1-1 currently. The Republic of Ireland coming from behind to level in this game, but they have to win this one in Budapest to secure a playoff place. Whereas for Hungary, a draw would be good enough for them to seal second. But top spot isn't out of their realm. They will have to rely on Portugal losing. Now, Portugal took the lead in their game against Armenia, but the visitors, Armenia, have now levelled things up. So it's 1-1 between Portugal and Armenia. So still a lot to play for in all of these games, and we'll keep you updated on them all. A slightly different story when it comes to the game, as I say, in Tirana, where Albania are assured of a playoff spot. England, we know, have already qualified for the World Cup, but they are looking to ensure they finish off the campaign with a 100% winning record and perhaps not even conceding either. Our very own reporter, Gezim Hilaj, is out in Albania right now, soaking up the atmosphere ahead of it. In fact, he's been speaking to Kevin Docker, who's an Albanian pub owner, who, interestingly, supports England rather than his own
Glory hunter
team. What on earth? Let's hear more.
We're here in Tirana, Albania, where behind me is the Liverpool pub, is a hub of Albanian supporters who support Liverpool. They are very enthusiastic about their national team, but also this is something very interesting of Albanian fans who are also England fans. So Kevin, thank you very much for having this conversation with me. Liverpool bar here is quite interesting. Like, how comes that you built this bar like here in Albania?
Yeah, to be fair, this bar was built by my father in 2002. The idea behind this pub and to make it like an English pub here in Tirana. I always support England in the World Cups, in the Euros, because Albania never make it that far, so my team is England. But if Albania manages to get a win, I think it would be historical, yeah.
People from Albania who, of course, have another team that they support. This is something common because I'm Albanian, so I know.
For a national team, it's very common, yeah. Every Albanian has another team beside Albania.
We just met some Albanian fans who gave their opinion about the match, Albania versus England, tomorrow live on talkSPORT.
Gezim, thank you very much. We're hearing from him a little bit later on as the build-up continues then to this game. It kicks off at 5, live coverage here on talkSPORT. After hearing that, do you have a second team now?
No,
you couldn't do that.
No, because it sounded like the Albanian Alex Crook, actually, like flip-flopping, was it? Well, I'm Albanian, but because we've been rubbish in the past, I'm going to support England.
Okay,
now we're quite good because I didn't think that Albania had any chance of getting into like a World Cup or Euros. I'm going to go now. I might just flip-flop back to Albania. But I think as well, when they said about the bar that was opened, obviously by his father, again, we don't realise the reach of the Premier League. We know, obviously, it is. We all say to each other, it's global. But the reason, obviously, they've gone with an English-themed bar is because they can get all the games. They can get the 3 o'clock games live, can't they, in Albania, in that bar?
Yeah,
so it just shows you like the power of the Premier League.
I mean, I do have a second national team, but I'm allowed that.
Yeah.
Because I'm half English, half Bulgarian.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Bulgaria aren't very good.
You got a half and half scarf.
I haven't, actually.
By the way, last night, here's one for you. It's just coming to my head. I love doing the FL for talkSPORT 2 on Saturdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no VAR and there's no half scarves, right? Because you support your team. There was half and half scarves last night for the Eubank, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn fight.
Okay. All right. That's different.
Really?
No, that's different. But I might get it to a degree because it's I know, I say one-off.
There's no tribalism in the boxing, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, there can be.
Exactly.
But that one, I feel like some people might buy it because it's just a one-off.
A symbol, right? Got you. Yeah, I don't get the, like, I support these as well, or I follow these as well. Because you can't have in my eyes, Premier League and then a League 2 EFL team.
Exactly, it doesn't feel right.
Because what it is, I'm a Gooner, and everybody knows that I'm a Gooner from, like, family ties, whatever. And I played for Colchester United when I was 16 to 21. Now, I follow their results, but it doesn't affect me emotionally if they win or lose or get promoted. Do you know what I mean?
You're happy for them.
I'm happy for exactly. Yeah, I want them to do well. Doesn't affect me as much as what Arsenal results do. Nowhere near. That's when you tell that's the team that you support if it really does your weekend in.
Does it though?
Yeah.
If Arsenal lose, you'd be annoyed.
Yeah. It affects you. It's like a malady. If it's if you may just abate by about, if it's a game's on the Saturday, it might just sort of ease off by about the Tuesday when you try and think.
Oh, poor Mrs. Groves.
More balanced. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. We're just going to bring you some golf news just quickly. Rory McIlroy is celebrating victory again, and despite being beaten to the DP World Tour Championship title by Matt Fitzpatrick in Dubai, McIlroy has ended the season by clinching a 7th Race to Dubai title after finishing runner-up, eclipsing Seve Ballesteros' tally of 6 and leaving him one behind Colin Montgomery's record of winning the European Tour's season-long race 8 times. Wow. Incredible. Okay, on the way next on the Sunday session, we'll take a look at Arsenal's title credentials with, of course, as you were hearing, our resident Gooner, Perry Groves, as one of their star players could face a lengthy time on the sidelines. How badly could he be missed? That's next. Good afternoon. Yes, this is the Sunday session here on talkSPORT. You're in the company of Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer as we take you through until 4 ahead of kickoff in Albania, where England look to sign off their World Cup campaign with a 100% winning start. Right, let's find out what's happening in the early stages of the WSL game between Tottenham and Arsenal and this North London derby, where Angelina Kelly is for us.
Yes, here at Brisbane Road in what is a record attendance. Only goal difference separates these two teams. It's an unchanged side for Tottenham Hotspur. Tinker Tamberg has kept her place up front over captain Beth England. Martin Ho has had them in competition this season, and he said that he will always pick the best player for the specific fixture. So excited to see what she can do today. 4 WSL goals in 8 games already. Arsenal, after drawing with Chelsea last weekend in a game that many thought, had it not been for a few refereeing decisions, they could have won. They then threw away that 2-goal lead to lose 3-2 against Bayern Munich midweek in the Champions League. So you can tell that they will be desperate to get a win today to try and close that gap with league leaders Manchester City. But so far, been pretty mixed. We've seen a lot of energy from both sides. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0.
Angelina, thank you very much. Just to run you through what's happening in the World Cup qualifiers in Group F. 2 quick-fire goals by Portugal now means they lead Armenia 3-1. Gonzalo Ramos, and then 2 minutes later, João Neves getting a third. So it means that they are in control of Group F and they will win it if they hold on to this win to secure their place then in the World Cup for next year. And as for Hungary against the Republic of Ireland, it is currently 1-1 with the Republic of Ireland coming from behind to level up with a Troy Parrott penalty. But they also have Caoimhin Kelleher to thank, Perry Groves.
Sorry, Brentford's Caoimhin Kelleher, as you reminded me, obviously. But it was it was a cross in from the right-hand side across the 6-yard box, and Salai is unmarked 4 yards out, and with his right instep, looks like he's just going to side foot it on the volley pass, and it's a brilliant save from Kelleher, where he's made himself like the Peter Schmeichel, you know, where you make yourself big. Yeah. And he's had to commit himself and actually gone towards the ball, so he's kept Republic of Ireland in it. They need to stay in this now because obviously they're both going for the second place. They just need to stay in this now, Republic of Ireland, and make sure that they're level at least going into the last 20, 25 minutes, because then what happens is Hungary know obviously they just need the draw. Mm-hmm. Then the tension goes into the stadium, then they start a little bit deeper, then you can make positive substitutions. So it's about Republic of Ireland, obviously with Troy Parrott's penalty, which was brilliantly taken, just make sure they stay in the game so they can put Hungary under a bit of pressure. Yeah, it is a must-win for Ireland if they are going to secure a playoff spot. 1-1 it is, just after the half-hour mark then in that game in Budapest. Right, let's talk Arsenal, shall we? Your beloved Arsenal. And worrying news that emerged from Brazil's friendly with Senegal after the Arsenal defender Gabriel picked up an injury. This is what the Brazil manager Carlo Ancelotti had to say afterwards as he issued an apology to Arsenal fans.
Bad, I don't know. I think he had the problem on his adductor. The medical staff has to check tomorrow. We are really sorry for this, really disappointed. When player had an injury, I hope that he can recover well and soon. How big a blow
Carly
would it
can
be?
stick your apology.
That is the great, legendary Carlo Ancelotti.
I know, the thing is, right, like he's saying the right stuff because obviously he knows how important Gabriel is, not just Brazil, but obviously to Arsenal. And every fan in the international break, when their players go away, obviously they want their international team with women, but fundamentally, you don't want your players getting injured. I'm watching England play. I don't want Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka getting injured. I don't think there's any point of playing against Albania because you've got to. You would say you've got to have other players in that you may have to use. You would. Obviously, I don't want Eberechi Eze to play because I don't want him to get injured. Exactly, because Arsenal's more important to me. And when Saka scored against Serbia, and then he signalled over to the bench, didn't he? And I thought, don't tell me that he's injured, but he was saying about changing his boots. Every Arsenal fan would have gone, get him off. Yeah. Just get him off the pitch. So with Gabriel, they said he's done he was like pulling his groin and his face didn't look great when he walked off. But that, you don't know. And obviously they are sort of analysed now, aren't they? And they have the CT scans and whatever, different sort of scans to see what grade it is. I'm hoping that it's a bit of stiffness and he might be available for the massive game we've got next Sunday against Spurs. Yeah. Exactly. So it's just what happens. It's part of, the international break. Just want all your players to come back fit. On the injury side of it, again, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed for the England game tonight. Obviously, I want England to win, But if it meant that England, I've got to be honest, if it meant that England drew or got beat, but my three Arsenal players didn't get injured, that doesn't bother me.
No.
Just want to get them back because the injuries. If you'd have said to Arsenal fans before the second international break, you'll be 4 points clear at the top of the league with the fixtures we had to begin the season, I'd have snapped your hands off. Over any shadow of a doubt.
So obviously with the Gabriel, and you're absolutely right, we don't quite know the extent of the injury, and it might just be a little tweak and nothing more. We might be able to run it off over a few days, whatever it is. But there are potential recovery times. There's an account I follow on social media that have sort of said that if it was some sort of a groin injury, that the minimum it could be is a week to 3 weeks in a sort of grade 1,
right?
Grade 2, 3 to 6 weeks. You're getting all nervous now. You're twitching.
I think I've just done my adapter. I've just thought I should have warmed up a bit better.
You're like shaking your legs as I talk about
Start
it.
doing my stretches.
Grade 2, 3 to 6 weeks. Grade 3, 6 to 8
All right,
weeks.
no, all right.
I know. But
right.
I'm just saying that's worst case scenario.
Exactly.
It might not be anything. It
Yeah.
might actually be quite harmless, and he just felt like he needed to come off because he knew that
It could have got worse.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the time as well when we're going into that winter period where games are relentless, as we know, and obviously you can bring into factors like the weather plays a part as well and everything. Have you got enough defensive cover for him?
That's the thing. Obviously, Calafiori didn't play for Italy because he's got a hip problem, but they just said it was a matter of him not making it worse, so he can play at left-sided centre-half. Mosquera can come and play that side as well. Then Lewis Skelly comes in at left-back. Hincapié can play there. And it's just the injuries that we have. If you think as well, Gyökeres, Havertz, Madueke, Jesus, Odegaard, Martinelli, and now Gabriel is added to that. So out of those 7 players, if we can get 3 or 4 of them back ready for the North London derby, then that bench looks even stronger. You know, there's going to be some really good players when everybody's fit that don't get on the bench.
Oh, we've got to interrupt. What a flyer this is. You said that Ireland have to stay in the game. Well, they've got harder work to do because they now trail. And it's Varga that has given Hungary this lead now. What a strike.
What a goal. If you're being hypercritical, maybe they can go and close him down a little bit quicker because as the ball comes in, he's in the D on the edge of the 18-yard box. He chests it down, ball bounces, then he turns in one swift movement with his left foot. Varga has smashed it into Kelleher's top left-hand corner. As I say, if you're being hypercritical, players can go and close him down a bit. Sometimes, though, you're just going, actually, like, hat off, because that was...
It all happened pretty quick.
It was world-class finish.
Yeah. 2-1 then, Hungary lead, which would be enough to secure them that playoff spot. Barnabas Varga then giving them that lead. So Ireland with work to do. They've got to win this one if they are to at least ensure themselves a playoff spot, which actually, when you consider at the start of the campaign, they got off to a bad start, didn't they? I think it was... They had a 3-game winless start. I think it was a draw and 2 defeats. So to be in this position, actually put them in a position where they could get a playoff spot is quite miraculous, really. But at the same time, you could say, well, they put themselves in this position after a terrible, terrible start to their campaign. But that being said, what a wonder strike that was from Vargas to give Hungary the lead. And Portugal do still lead 3-1 against Armenia, which will be enough as a win to secure Group F and see them straight through to next year's World Cup as well. Yes, what were we saying? We were talking about Arsenal, weren't we? I suppose just quickly on the Arsenal matter, obviously huge blow. You don't want to lose Gabriel, especially when he has his partnership with William Saliba. And I think defensively it's always hard when you lose players, a goalkeeper likewise, because it's just such an important relationship on the pitch to have. But you mentioned the strength and depth that they have. Are you optimistic about this season? Do you think Arsenal can sustain what they're doing right now?
I think with the squad, you look at the strength in depth of the squad that we have at the moment, it's probably the strongest squad, you know, because when the players, they're saying about no drop-off, it's not a drop-off, you actually improve, because when you're bringing players off the bench of the calibre of Eberechi Eze, obviously if Odegaard's fit, then he might play or vice versa. The actual standard goes up because you bring in someone like that on in the last 25 minutes when the opposition are a little bit more fatigued, then it has an even bigger impact. You know what I mean? So you say you're going up probably by 5%. What will happen is Arsenal have to win either the Premier League or the Champions League this season. Because
when you say have to win,
yes.
What if they don't?
Well, what will happen is there'll be outside noise. It won't be the majority, high percentage. The reason we are where we are is because of Arteta. That is it. Because of the culture that he's created, I was going to say we're like Man United, but we weren't as like poor as them. But that's what Ruben Amorim is battling with, is to change the culture. Arteta's done that. But now he knows himself, when you've been back like he has been in the transfer window, and he's got the squad that he wants, because they're all the players that he wants in that squad. No one, it's not like, I know Andrea Berta is a brilliant director of football, but Arteta has the final say, and he knows the levels that Arsenal are at now. And for this group of players, if you want to be remembered as a great Arsenal team or a great Arsenal player, you have to win the Premier League or the Champions League. Otherwise, you'll be sort of remembered, but it'll be mentioned in dispatches. Do you know what I mean? You'll be, oh yeah, no one's ever say you were part of that brilliant team to come third three times on the trot. You have to win one. And even if it's, I'm all about trophies. If you win the FA Cup, it will be seen as not being a big enough trophy to win. If we win the League Cup, it'll be seen as not being a big enough trophy to win. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be more noise from the outside than obviously inside. And if I was in this group of players, you'd be fed up and keep coming second.
Of course.
Like second.
That's the drive, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If you think like Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, second 3 times for Arsenal in the Premier League, second twice for England in Euros finals, that has to drive you on. And the thing that could happen is, football's very cyclical. The first one's the hardest one to win. If you win the first one, then that gives you more assurance, confidence that you could go on and win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. But you have this, there is pressure, and that's why you play for the big clubs. There's pressure every big club you play for.
Yeah.
But it's in our own hands. That's where you want to be. And once you've got it in, you don't want to, that's why the game against Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday is the biggest game of the season. Not just because it's the North London derby, which is huge anyway, because you want to make sure that once you've got your foot on your opponent's neck, you don't want to take that foot off and don't give Man City that little sniff to get themselves back in it. So I'm just saying that of these players that are injured, hopefully we get 3 or 4 of them back fit. Because you look, after Spurs, it's Bayern Munich, then it's Chelsea. So November is pivotal, without any shadow of a doubt.
Certainly is. And of course, any more updates on what happens with Gabriel, we will bring it to you. João Neves has scored his second of the afternoon. It means Portugal now lead Armenia 4-1, as it looks as though it's done and dusted for them in winning Group F. On the way on the Sunday session, we'll bring you the rather peculiar stories of the week as Stranger Things returns to the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
I said, in these shoes? No way, Jose. I said, honey, let's stay right here.
This is the Sunday Session, playing you the sounds of the weekend. It's Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer with you until 4 this afternoon. I have to own up, I've not heard either of these songs before.
No?
Have you?
Yep.
You know both of these?
What, in these... That's Kirsten McCall, is it?
Yeah, in these shoes.
In these shoes.
Graham in Newcastle. Thank you for teaching me something I didn't know. And I love Billy Joel, but Easy Money, I've not heard that one either, which is terrible. But that was Nick in South London who brought us that offering as well. I'm really bad, aren't I? I hate it when I...
Just think, if you ever went on Popmaster or 10 to the Top, now you'd be all right.
Yeah,
You've got other songs in your armoury.
Do you know the problem I have there is I don't retain this information. So I wouldn't be very good. Although I do like to do quizzes. I do love a pub quiz.
Well, there you go.
So I will always try. But yeah, I'm also one of those people that knows very little when it comes to song lyrics. I get them wrong all the time. I don't think I could sing one song in full.
So what you're
apart
saying
from
is
Happy Birthday.
You'd never be a phone a friend.
Definitely not for songs. Definitely not.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah,
don't leave me alone.
I think that's probably wise. I'd like to think you have cleverer people than me that you'd call anyway. So keep them coming into us. Your sounds of the weekend. That, of course, as we mentioned there, the In These Shoes, based on these technological shoes that the England team are wearing right now to sort of get the best out of them. So Thomas Tuchel believes, and the technology says. And then the Easy Money Billy Joel song based on Sean Dyche and what he was saying about if he was earning the money that football players earn these days, he wouldn't do very well with it, put it that way. Now it's time for a bit of this.
Stranger Things on the Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
Let's get it straight into it, shall we, with our first Stranger Things story. Ruben Amorim reportedly earned respect from his Manchester United stars last season after accidentally smashing a TV in a furious tirade. The United boss endured a nightmare first campaign, finishing 15th with 18 defeats and calling it a disaster season after losing the Europa League final to Spurs. During a 3-1 home loss to Brighton, emotion seemingly boiled over Perry. With tears in his eyes, he let rip at his players, shattering a screen in the process. Moments like this, along with flashpoints involving Manuel Ugarte and a half-time kneel at Everton, reminded fans of Sir Alex Ferguson's famous hairdryer treatment. This season, though, it does seem to be a different story. United have gone 5 games unbeaten, coming from behind to earn a 2-2 draw at Spurs, beating Liverpool 2-1 on the road and picking up wins against Sunderland and Brighton. Amorim's men now look to keep the momentum going as they host Everton on November the 24th before heading to Crystal Palace a week later.
Is it like Incredible Hulk? Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry.
That's it. Oh, I like that. You thought that one.
In the old days, it used to be teacups, isn't it? Now it's TV screen.
TVs.
Thing is, at half time at the end they go, how can they watch Married at First Sight if they've got no telly? You've got to think about these modern day players these days.
Oh, you know, the pampered player.
Exactly.
I'd be so upset about it. Yeah.
The next story is all about Chelsea, a Chelsea legend. John Terry's proved he's a sore loser in the best possible way. The Chelsea legend, appearing on the Obi-Wan podcast, revealed he still can't stomach defeat, even in a Legends clash against Liverpool. Despite a star-studded squad featuring returning heroes Eden Hazard and Diego Costa, Chelsea went 1-0 down to a late Ryan Babel winner. While most players would put the difference aside at the after party, have a few pints, fry a few shapes, Terry was fuming, skipping the celebrations and heading home with his wife to re-watch the match as if it were a Champions League final.
No, he didn't.
Analysing every pass, decision and even the coin toss.
No!
Even in defeat, Terry's love for the Blues shone through. He described the emotions run out of Stamford Bridge, seeing banners and fans and taking a moment to soak it all in. Reflect on the experience. He laughed about future Legends games, teasing a match against Spurs for a little confidence booster. All right, John, right, don't need to poke the bear. Proving that while he hates losing, his heart will always be with Chelsea. Show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser.
Ooh.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But calm yourself down, John. Do you know what I mean? Somebody friendly.
I was going to say...
No such thing as a friendly.
Well, I know, but... I mean, come on.
Now, if you talk to any...
It's a bit of fun, no?
Ex-player, they will tell you, even if they're playing in charity games or charity five-a-sides, you think you're just going to go and have a little kick about, laugh about. There was always one shall we say, idiot who's running around with the opposition, who's got something to prove or wants to kick you, and then it kicks. You can't help it. It kicks in.
Okay, all right. Well, John Terry committed, as he always is, on the football pitch. Few football stories are as remarkable as the journey of Wembley's Royal Tunnel gates. Dating back to 1923, these colossal doors witnessed legends walk through, from King George V to Queen Elizabeth II, through White Horse finals and the 1966 World Cup, of course. When the old stadium closed in 2000, they narrowly escaped demolition, rescued by the Brookings Trust, before eventually being auctioned in 2011. That's when the Chilean businessman Jorge Yarro Buscunen stepped in, paying £5,875 to bring them 7,000 miles to his Fundación Museo de la Moda. Thank you. In Santiago, giving the gates a new life far from Wembley Way. Sometimes you just got to run at it.
I'm glad they give you that one.
Thank you. Their voyage wasn't smooth, though. The gates suffered wood rot, oh my gosh, and fungal damage during shipping, and it took the expertise of Titanic restoration specialist Stefan Penek to save them. Now, painstakingly preserved, the gates stand proudly against the backdrop of the Andes. Oh, lovely. One of the few surviving relics of the original Wembley. What a story. I like that.
Why haven't we kept it out of our heritage and history?
We're done with it.
No, right.
We're done.
That should have just lain somewhere, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, and reclaim.
It would have, it would have had like foliage growing all around it, and we'd have suddenly gone, what were they?
So these other people investing in it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our final Stranger Things story is about former Liverpool winger Jordan Ibe, who has taken his footballing journey to Bulgaria at 29, signing a 2-year deal with Lokomotiv Sofia just weeks after joining non-league Sittingbourne. You said there was no loyalty in football, didn't you? Once hailed as one of the Premier League's brightest prospects under Jurgen Klopp, Ibe made 58 appearances for the Reds, scoring 4 goals and providing 7 assists, before a £15 million move to Bournemouth in 2016 failed to reignite his top-flight career. Since then, Ibe's path has been anything but straightforward. Struggling with form and mental health issues during the second spell at Derby, he spent time in Turkey with Adanaspor without playing. Then he returned to non-league football with clubs including Ebbsfleet, Hayes-in-Yedin, Hungerford Town and Sittingbourne. His journeys even included trials abroad and a stint at Baller League UK for John Terry's 26ers, but now he looks to make a fresh start in Bulgaria's top division with Lokomotiv Sofia. So basically, John Terry's still going through all Jordan Ibe's performances as we speak. Just analysing him, give the ball away, didn't track back, what are you doing?
Not good enough.
But to be fair, I think that's, again, he should be given credit because he loves his football. Do you know what I mean? Because that is showing a lot of sort of drive and hunger to still stay and play at the highest level you can possibly play.
Yeah, and we should say that Lokomotiv are 11th. It's not like they're, table toppers and he's going there for the glory as such, because, as I say, they're 11th. And what are they? They are 19 points off top spot, which is Levski. So, yes, good for him, as we say. Why not give it a whirl? Right, just quickly running through the halftime scores. Portugal 5-1 is the halftime score against Armenia, with Bruno Fernandes scoring a penalty to make it 5, and it is 2-1 that Hungary lead the Republic of Ireland in these final Group F encounters in what is a must-win for the Republic of Ireland, but they've got work to do. Okay, on the way next on the Sunday session, we'll be looking at the pressure put on young English stars as Luke Littler is on the verge of becoming the darts world #1 here on the Sunday session.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time. What a volley, what a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
You're listening to the Sunday Session with me, Natalie Sawyer, and the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. We're going to bring you team news from Albania versus England, which follows straight after us. Coverage begins at 4, kickoff is at 5, but it's already been a busy day in the world of football, in particular in the WSL. Aston Villa hosted the London City Lionesses, and talkSPORT's Dave Rowe watched this one.
Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3. Back-to-back wins for the WSL newcomers, who are strong from set pieces and deserve their result. Saki Kermagai put them ahead in the early stages. That was cancelled out by Kirsty Hansen by mistake by keeper Lete, but 2 quick-fire goals after the break settled the match. Isabel Goodwin at close range from a Paris pullback, and then Kermagai for the second time heading in from a corner. That's now 5 wins for the Lionesses, and Villa still haven't won at home. Aston Villa 1, London City Lionesses 3.
West Ham took on Everton, and across this one for us was talkSPORT's Ian Abrahams.
West Ham 3, Everton 1. A first win of the season then for West Ham in the WSL. Denton's ball in from the right-hand side, spilled into her own net by Emily Ramsey. 10 minutes before half-time gave them the lead. They doubled that when Amber Tiziak headed home just before the break, and just after Shakira Martinez made it 3. She later had a goal disallowed for offside. Snoys pulled one back later for Everton. Barely a consolation though, as West Ham moved off the bottom of the table. West Ham 3, Everton 1.
And talkSPORT 2 had live commentary of Liverpool against Chelsea. Here's how that sounded.
Liverpool have got a huge point down the bottom of the WSL. Resilient, they persevered. Nobody gave them a prayer against the champions. And Chelsea, on their landmark day, are thwarted. They will set a new record for unbeaten games, 34 without loss in the WSL, but not with the win they so coveted. So they lose out on the chance to cut the gap at the top to 1 point. And Liverpool, though they do go bottom, well, they covered themselves in glory.
And Brighton beat Leicester by 4 goals to 1. There's a small matter of a North London derby taking place, as well as Tottenham take on Arsenal. talkSPORT's Angelina Kelly's there.
It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. So far, Spurs have put in some excellent work down the left-hand side, especially from Matilda Vinberg, who came close to scoring thanks to a cross from Jess Naz on the right. Meanwhile, Arsenal, they're growing into the game and have had a few chances, including a free kick on the left-hand side outside the box, with Kyra Cooney-Cross playing a beautiful ball into the box. However, it was headed out by Spurs before Stina Blackstenius could meet it at the far post. Steph Catley went down with a knock to the head. She's okay, but as she was receiving treatment, Arsenal formed a huddle being led by the likes of Beth Mead and Emily Fox. They do not look happy with their performance overall so far in this game. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0.
Angelina, thank you very much, and we'll keep you up to date from the Autumn Nation series as well, as Scotland take on Argentina. talkSPORT's Stuart Cameron will be joining us a little later to keep us right across that one as well. And also at half-time in the World Cup qualifiers, Portugal are 5-1 up against Armenia, which secures the Group F and their place in the World Cup. And in the winner-takes-all encounter between Hungary and the Republic of Ireland, it is Hungary who lead 2-1 at the break as they look to secure a playoff spot. This is the Sunday Session on talkSPORT. A reminder that talkSPORT is now available on your smart TV. Just grab the app on Android TV and Google TV. We're even on Prime Video. talkSPORT live on your screen as well as your speakers. So you can always check out how we're looking. Gone are the days you could just turn up in your PJs. We have to now look a little bit, you know.
Zhuzh yourself up a little
yes.
bit. Yes.
TV friendly.
Yes.
At times.
Where's no makeup though? There's normally
I know.
makeup. I love a little bit of the powder.
Oh, did they come in and do that for you? I've never had that.
Yeah, if you're downstairs doing like the podcast, whatever, yeah, they have a little bit of makeup. I think this is my shiny bald head. They have to take the glare off. That's what it is.
Oh, I don't know. Don't know about that. Now, interestingly, I'm a bit confused by this update. The Brazilian national team have confirmed that Gabriel has suffered a muscle injury to his right knee. The Arsenal defender will not travel with the Brazil squad, who play a friendly against Tunisia in France on Tuesday.
So normally it'd be a ligament injury, wouldn't it, to your...
But it looked like a
right
groin
knee.
injury, didn't it?
Carlo, when he had his heartfelt apology, Carlo Ancelotti, he said it was the abductor, didn't he? And it looked like when Gabriel came off, pulled his shorts up and he was just
that's what I mean.
rubbing
That's what it
the
looked
top of
like he
his
was
thigh.
doing.
So the good thing is he hasn't travelled and he can get back and get some injury. Put him in his Winnebago, put his silk dressing gown on and his little smoking jacket.
And the fancy Crocs.
And the posh Crocs, and it'll be all right for Sunday. We're all done.
It'll be sorted for the North London derby, quite. But any more updates on Gabriel's injury, I'm sure talkSPORT will bring it to you. Now, let's get on to this story about Luke Littler, who is one win away from becoming the world number one for the first time in darts after he came from behind to beat Josh Rock and reach the semi-finals of the Grand Slam of darts. The defending champion Littler will overtake Luke Humphreys at the top of the rankings as a result if he reaches the final in Wolverhampton. As we know, I mean, his averages have just been ridiculous. So 105.18 was his average in a 16-12 victory over Rock then. He's still, just 18 years old and has an incredible future, as we well know, within the sport. But it kind of got us thinking about the pressure that he must feel now, especially when he broke into darts at the PDC World Championship a couple of years ago. As a 16-year-old. It's just what a story it was when we saw what he achieved in such an early age. Arsenal's Max Dowman, I suppose, is another one we can liken it to, and someone I'm sure you know a lot about. I mean, tell us, first of all, a little bit about Max Dowman, for those that still aren't quite sure about what type of player he is and why you and probably all Arsenal fans are rightly excited about
It's
him.
scary. He's not 16 until New Year's Eve. That's what's scary. I didn't know what pair of pants I was wearing when I was 15, let alone playing Arsenal's first team. So, but the thing is, you talk about generational talents, and Luke Littler is obviously a generational talent, where it's obviously he practice where he actually doesn't practice. That gets on the other darts players' nerves a little bit, doesn't it? Because he doesn't necessarily practice 3-4 times hours a day sort of thing. With Max Dowman, as I said before, the only thing that will stop him being a world-class footballer will be if he's unlucky with injuries or his attitude. That's the only thing, because everything is there. And I'd heard all of the furore around him, and I hadn't seen him play live myself. You know, when you think, oh, calm yourself down, he can't be as good. Like I was lucky enough playing with young players when I was in Arsenal's first team, when Paul Merson was coming through, like unbelievably talented Merson. You could tell straight away. David Rocastle, bless him, still miss him to this day. You could tell he was going to be a superstar. Mickey Thomas, Paul Dake, Tony Adams. So all those players. But this player, at the same age, is far better than the players I've just mentioned.
Wow.
And he's far better than Bukayo Saka at 15 and a half, because you think, like, Bukayo Saka broke in when he was sort of 17, come around that. Jack Wilshere, the same thing, who was going to be another generational talent, but unfortunate with injuries.
Yeah.
And I saw him play against Manchester United in the FA Youth Cup, and obviously it's under 18s. So when you're 15 to 18, there's a big difference in your physical development from that age. And the Fletcher twins were playing for Manchester United, obviously very well established, very good players. And they were just coming up to 18. And he ran the show in the FA Cup semi-final at the Emirates. And his technique and the way that he plays is very, very similar. I'm not saying it's the same as Lionel Messi. The way that he dribbles, the way that... I think he's about... he's bigger than what people think. I think he's about 5'11", 6 foot.
Okay.
And it's just the way that he takes the ball, he takes it on the turn. It's like he's just stuck to his foot. And he's got that, something that you can't coach is he's got the stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. When you dribble and then you slow down and then you accelerate and then you dribble and then you accelerate and you slow down. And that twists defenders' blood. And even when he's come on pre-season for Arsenal, he looked like he felt he should have belonged there. He's been obviously in and around the squad at the beginning of the season. He's been on the bench, come on a couple of times, and just looks very comfortable. But at that age, when we said about pressure, when you're that age, you don't think about a lot. You don't overthink stuff. It's only when you get older that you start thinking more deeply about stuff.
I mean, I know what you mean, but at 15, to be asked to play in the Premier League or in whatever competition, I mean, he's the youngest now ever player in the Champions League.
Yeah.
That in itself does have an element of pressure, doesn't it?
No, but he won't be overthinking it. That's the point. When you're 15 and a half, you're not overthinking.
I think, okay, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And I know this is nowhere near similar. But if I was asked at 15 to, I don't know, do a speech in front of X amount of people, I would find that quite frightening. because I wouldn't be used to it. Now, I know it might be slightly different because he's come up through a different culture and it's maybe inbred.
Also, yeah, but it all depends if you've been doing that before and you've done speeches in front of a few people.
To come on for the Champions, I'm baffled by it in the sense I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, but you're just playing free. That's what I'm saying, because you're not
I find that fascinating.
You're not overthinking stuff. Like when you're younger, you haven't got pressure of what I call the real world. Do you know what I mean? The world that's going on around you.
Not a pressure of I've got to do well here.
No, because he's taken on information off from Mikel Arteta. Obviously he's doing his work at school where he's still getting his education. Then he'll train with the first team. And then at the moment, it's pure enjoyment because there's no pressure of expectation on him to deliver performances. Because if he doesn't play very well in a game, then it's, well, I'm not being funny, he's going to be inconsistent because he's only come 16. And you'll have dips in form, you'll have growth spurts. So you have to manage, on the physical side of it, you have to manage yourself, and the club will manage. And the good thing about Arsenal is they've got a good reputation of managing young players from Hale End Academy into, if you look at, we said about the pathway of Bukayo Saka and Miles Lewis-Skelly, Wanyeri. So they know what they're doing. And these players that I mentioned, they're not probably as tall as Max Delman, but they know how to handle their bodies. When you watch them play, they're very good at like holding people off with their shoulders. And again, that comes naturally. But I don't think, Luke Littler, we're talking about as well, he's just, again, playing with no pressure. The only pressure will come with the pressure that he puts on himself. Because he must be getting on the other darts players' nerves when he just comes up and I think there was one after he got into the World Championship final before he won it. Then he went on a Beano with his mates and he flew into one of the PDC competition. I think it was in Berlin somewhere. And everybody else had been practicing. He just flew in on the day of his game and just, again, averaged probably about 100, got into the final and won it. And the other players are practicing backsides off. You must think, oh, go away, you little upstart. What are you doing?
You can't compete with that.
No,
it's not
because
fair.
it's so natural. And if I was a senior player playing against him, I'd make it a lot more difficult for him. It seems to be very nice all around him at the moment. And maybe now he's coming, he said he's 18 now, and he becomes the world number one, then he's there to be shot at. But at the moment, you can tell he's loving every minute. He's just enjoying himself.
The floodgates have opened. Portugal 6 now, Armenia 1, and Fernandes has got his second of the game. So
Cristiano who?
Don't need him, do they? Don't need him. Right, before we build up to England's big match against Albania, we'll get you smiling here on the Sunday Session.
suddenly everything's right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so...
Some good choices here.
Is that Paolo Nutini, no?
Yes, Nutini.
Yeah.
With his new shoes.
Yeah.
I saw him in Dublin a couple of summers ago. Good fun.
Yeah. Proper singer-songwriter.
Yes, that was a recommendation from Sarah in Leeds, so thank you very much. And Mark in Cambridge has, of course, gone from Money for Nothing from Dire Straits. So this is the sounds of the weekend following England's new shoes, magic shoes, supposedly, and Sean Dyche admitting... yeah, he wouldn't have done very well if he had earned the money players have in today's game. Thank you very much for all of your contributions for that. But now it's time for this.
When you're smiling, the whole world, it smiles with you.
Oh, I love it. Up first, AFC Wimbledon fan Xavier Wiggins, who's 54, has completed a staggering 2,000-mile trek across the country, visiting all 92 Premier League and EFL stadiums. Well done. To raise money and awareness for the club's community trusts. Along the way, he battled heavy rain, lost trails, and even had South Wales police escort him off a busy road. But the challenge did not deter him. Xavier's journey was inspired by his efforts to save AFC Wimbledon from giving up fan ownership, and his work with the Don's local action group, tackling food, furniture, and digital poverty during COVID, opened his eyes to the incredible work clubs are doing off the pitch. Now, despite the brutal conditions, including a 10-mile stretch on dual carriageways, crikey, and heavy rucksacks, Xavier was buoyed by the public and football community. Locals offered hotel stays, sandwiches, even joined him for legs of the walk too, whilst he met former players like Franny Benali, Guy Butters and Taylor Moore, hearing firsthand how clubs are supporting mental health, reducing crime and helping people get back into work. And by the end of it, he'd lost 3.5 stone. Wow. But says his body adapted quickly and the experience left him inspired by the real-world impact football can have beyond the pitch. That's brilliant.
Changing lives.
Yeah, well done.
And for all those motorists who saw Xavier walking down the dual carriageway, they were like, what's he doing on there? You think, now you know why he was...
Yeah, you're thinking he shouldn't be there.
He should be there, exactly,
What's he doing?
What's that high-vis, whatever, doing on our roads? Our next story is about former Chelsea winger Christian Pulisic, who has announced the release of his first children's book, Christian Soccer Superpowers, set to hit the shelves on April the 28th, 2026, just 2 months before the World Cup in the US, Canada and Mexico. The book, illustrated by Marta Kissi, tells a story about focus, determination and confidence. And Pulisic shared the cover on social media, showing a young boy striking a football in the middle of a packed stadium. Fans were quick to react, with many saying they couldn't wait to share the story with their children. Off the pitch, Pulisic enjoying a strong season with AC Milan, scoring 6 goals, providing 2 assists in 9 appearances since his £20 million move from Chelsea 2 years ago. The former Blue Star spent 4 years at Stamford Bridge, racking up 145 appearances, 47 goals, and winning the Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, and Club World Cup. Before that, he made his name at Borussia Dortmund, quickly established himself as one of the brightest young talents in world football. So a little bit of creativity. Football that can write. Who'd have thought it? Eh?
Oh,
see how times have changed.
There are some clever footballers.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Again, it's my vintage. Back in, I think it was 86, there was a programme on TV called Josh's Giants.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that.
That was written by Sid Waddell. We talked about darts.
That's right,
we don't just
it
throw this
was.
show together, you know.
I know, it was written by him, I know.
And it's based up in Newcastle.
That's right.
Yeah, it was out 10 episodes. You know what? I used to love that. And I think is in 86, right? I was 21. It wasn't since I was a kid. I used to think, I can't watch Josh's Giants is on. I've got to have a bit of this.
Hey, you know, it inspired you, obviously, in some ways. Finally, I have to include, obviously, an Arsenal story for Mr.
This is nothing to do with me, by the way.
No. Arsenal youngster Miles Lewis-Skelly was getting some good-natured ribbing at London Colney for always being the last out at training. But it wasn't down to laziness or bad timekeeping. The teenage left-back was simply spending too long adjusting his socks. Okay. Like most pros, Lewis-Skelly doesn't wear the standard socks you buy with replica kits. Instead, he uses the tube socks or sleeves with no foot or heel, allowing for a thinner fit inside tight boots. His large inner socks kept slipping, meaning more time spent fiddling with his teammates. Well, I should say his team.
Yeah, there's no dump button, is there? That's right.
Say that again.
And reset.
Yeah, meaning more time spent fiddling while his teammates were already off on drills. Whew. To solve the problem, Lewis Skelly has switched to smaller inner socks that need less adjustment and keeps his feet locked in with latex pads along the heel and foot to stop slipping. Might sound trivial, but as Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta would tell you, it's all about the fine margins, and now Miles Lewis Skelly is no longer the last one out at training. Is anyone like that in your day?
It's just like even that, now the level they go to with not wearing proper football socks, because everybody sees the cutout, don't they, on the calves, because that makes you think that you're not putting pressure on your calf muscle, so you're not going to.
That's what it is.
That's for that. But I didn't even realise that they didn't have like even toes in their socks.
No, that doesn't sound nice.
There'll be a time, even these boots compared to our boot, they're so thin. Do you know what I mean? The leather is so like thin. Well, they don't get a lot of protection.
Well, it's like the shin pads, isn't it?
Well, they're not.
Tiny shin pads.
They're actually all they do. They just go right down the shin bone. And I was in talking about boots. I was in the first team dressing room on Friday at the Emirates. Obviously, Brazil were playing on Saturday. I've seen a lot of things. I know that football is improving and how it's different from me when I played. The home team dressing room obviously was Brazil's home team. One of the tour guys said, "You've got to go and have a look at the dressing room." So what's the matter? He said, "Well, Brazil have taken over." So I went, "Okay, I'll have a look." So I went in, and there's cubicles where they get changed. They have 2 cubicles each. So
okay.
Kit's up in one, and then obviously you put your tracksuit, whatever, up in the other. So it goes around in a horseshoe shape. Every cubicle the Brazilians had a full-size picture of themselves.
Oh, they kidded it out.
So it's all Brazil branded. So you just think how fetid they are these days, where they've got a full and I wanted to go and put a false nose and glasses with a marker pen on Richarlison's one, but
you didn't.
I was told to grow up, number one, and number two, on uncertain terms, that the Brazilian FA wouldn't have been very happy if
I don't know if you'd be allowed back in.
No,
You'd
I'd be done.
That, really.
Yeah, but it's just amazing, and they all had about 10 pairs of boots each.
But isn't it, again, fine margins? They obviously think if we deck it out completely, makes them feel like this is our dressing room.
Oh, absolutely. It's
like the Crocs, the posh shoes.
All the interactive boards. Yeah. So it was all Brazil branded. So when they walked out, it was all the Brazilian flag, Brazilian covers, and then and they could change it into the sponsors what they wanted to, or if you want to put messages, because Arteta's all about obviously the marginal gains. So you can put these different messages that can flash up on different screens. Honestly, it's incredible, the detail.
Yep. That's technology for you, Perry.
Yeah.
Blows our mind.
Not funny, I can't even do a fire stick.
Hey, you know what a mouse is, though, as you've told me.
You was testing me.
No, I wasn't. I just couldn't find it. It was behind my laptop, that's why. Anyway, we're going to move on. That were our smiles for the weekend. But we're keeping on across all the football that is taking place. And don't forget, we will hopefully bring you team news from Albania against England in this hour, ahead of live kickoff at 5. A whole host of WSL games have been taking place. It is, as I say, half-time, though, in the match between Tottenham and Arsenal. So what happened in that first half? talkSPORT's Angelina Kelly.
Half-time, Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. Spurs can be proud of the work they put in against the European champions in the early stages of the game, with some great work, especially on the left-hand side from the likes of Amanda Nielden and Matilda Wimberg, who came close to scoring thanks to a great ball across the face of goal from Jess Naz on the right. Arsenal won't be happy with the half in general. They did grow into the game, but have cut a frustrated side at times. Mariana Caldente has played in some good balls. Kyra Cooney-Cross's free kick from outside the box almost found Stina Blackstenius at the far post, but she was unable to meet the ball. Kyra overall has been great in what is her first WSL start of the season, but the Gunners will need to create more clear-cut chances in this second half if they want to avoid losing more ground on Manchester City at the top of the table. Half-time, Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0.
Angelina, thank you. More reports then throughout. Next, our focus turns to yet another Thomas Tuchel test as England prepare for Albania, live on talkSPORT. This is the Sunday Session. This is the Sunday session on talkSPORT. It is Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer with you until 4. We'll be concentrating on Albania against England in just a moment. But of course, the awesome Nation Series in rugby continues. Scotland are taking on Argentina. It's just got underway. Let's get an update from talkSPORT. Stuart Cameron.
First blood to Scotland. Scotland 7, Argentina 0. Scotland have struck first with a Jack Dempsey try converted by Finn Russell on 12 minutes. No more than they deserve. They've been the more clinical. They've had more possession and territory. Argentina have also been playing 10 minutes with 14 men when Malia was yellow carded for a tip tackle on Darcy Graham. But it's Scotland 7, Argentina 0.
Stuart, thank you very much. OK, let's talk Albania against England, shall we? Let's take you back to our reporter, Gezim Hilaj, who is in Tirana, is in and about, soaking up the atmosphere outside some of the pubs ahead of the game.
I'm here in Tirana with Connor, an England fan. Like, if you see behind me, like, the atmosphere is getting crazy here. How does it feel like to travel from England to Albania? Like, what's the atmosphere like here?
It's been amazing. I mean, with England anyway, every time we come away, the atmosphere is brilliant. But some countries, they're a little bit tentative to come to England fans. Albania have been so welcoming. We've had such a great time in the bars, and they've been so welcoming to us. And obviously there's been no trouble, so it's been great.
What do you think about Thomas Tuchel and the squad he will send to the World Cup?
Look, there's a lot of personalities in the England squad. We've had it for years, since, you know, about 2004, 2006. We've had the squads where there's been a lot of personalities, and I think that Thomas Tuchel is the man to calm all the personalities down, like Jude Bellingham and stuff like that. And I think he'll choose the right squads. He'll choose the squad that he wants. And I mean, we're playing well. We haven't seen the goal yet in the qualifying. I think we're okay.
What's your prediction on the game? Do you think Albania will score a goal against England?
I hope not, because obviously I want the 100% record to stay. I think it'll be 3-1 to England. If Albania score, the atmosphere will be brilliant. The atmosphere is going to be great anyway. But yeah, I think Albania will score.
Thanks, Gezim. OK, it's an interesting qualifier to round things off, and the team news is in from the three lines. So let's get you straight to it with our match commentator, Jim Proudfoot. Jim.
Good afternoon, Nat. Well, with England having already qualified and Albania cementing the playoff place in this group, Thomas Tuchel's in a position to rotate and look at other options in certain positions. So there are 7 changes to the team that beat Serbia live on talkSPORT on Thursday. And that includes a recall for Jude Bellingham, who hasn't started any of the last 6 internationals. There's also a debut for Jarrod Quansah, a full debut for Adam Wharton, with recalls for Dan Burnin for the injured Ezri Konsa, Ebere Chiesa, Jared Bowen and Dean Henderson in goal as England look for a 10th successive win to nil in competitive internationals. So this is the team: Dean Henderson, Quansah, Stones, Byrne and O'Reilly, Wharton, Bowen, Bellingham, Rice and Eza and Kane. And Stuart Pearce is alongside me for a 5 o'clock kickoff here. Night beginning to fall in Tirana on talkSPORT.
Jim, thank you very much. Well, you mentioned Stuart Pearce. Let's speak to Stuart Pearce then ahead of this one. How are you doing, Stuart?
All very well, Nat. Thank you very much.
Good to hear you. 7 changes. I mean, that is quite a lot. And I know in a way, the campaign is done. It's been a brilliant campaign as well for Thomas Tuchel. But 7 seems like quite a lot.
Probably more than I expected, but we've got the odd injury there. I think Pickford was struggling with his thigh, I thought, the other night, went down in the first half, so I thought there was a bit of precaution there, so that's a natural one. Konsa as well, an injury, so they were sort of forced upon him, but I think it's sensible changes, keeps the pattern of the team. He gets a chance to look at Wharton in that holding role, which is good. We've also, I thought, Eza come on and played very well the other night, so I naturally saw him playing. I thought Bellingham would start, and Bowen, to be fair, because Saka played the full 90-odd minutes. So I think there's been some sensible changes within the group.
Stu, with the changes, I couldn't believe in the squad that Danny Welbeck was in it, because I get the changes, because you have to see what other players can do, under pressure, and if you're getting some of your main players to be injured. So I didn't think it make any sense that Danny Welbeck wasn't in the squad to play up front instead of Harry Kane.
No, I can understand your thought process there. As I say, Danny's been around the England squads for a long, long time, so he's going to fit in straight away. You know what he stands for as a man. He's a fantastic squad and team player, Danny Welbeck, so he would have come in and done it. But if you're a manager and you're looking at your striking options and you don't fancy any of them, somewhere down the line you think to yourself, you know what, I can't pick him for the sake of picking him, you know, and if I don't fancy him in that role, or if I might want to explore, as he did late on in the second half with Foden and Bellingham, instead of a naturalised striker, then it's very difficult to pick them if you don't think that they're going to be good enough long-term for your team.
What about in the full-back position, Stu? Obviously, nobody better to ask at left-back position than yourself. I think the two full-back positions are the two positions that are still up for grabs. So Nick O'Reilly did really well, so he's kept his place. But in the long term, who do you see filling that space?
Well, listen, ask me a year ago and I would say it's your boy Lewis Skelly at Arsenal. Then all of a sudden he can't get in the Arsenal team. So I think it could be a problem position for us in both positions. I think he likes Reece James at right back, no doubt about that. At left back, I thought O'Reilly played very well the other night, nice and solid, but then again he's played for Man City, so he won't be shaken by any occasion, and the more games he plays, the better. You've also got Luke Shaw, whether his race has run with England, who knows, but I don't know, it's a difficult one to be fair. I don't think that's been nailed down, and that and the back line, even though, as ludicrous as it sounds with the clean sheet record we have, I'm wondering whether we can be strong enough defensively to go and win a World Cup.
You know what, Stuart? I agree, because I think even against Serbia, especially down the right-hand side, when Serbia had to come out, I don't think we looked particularly solid defensively.
No, there were certainly more than one or two nervous moments when they've tossed the ball into that channel and gone beyond us and behind us, and probably they missed a chance that was easier than Saka's one that he put away in the first half, very similar. So, yeah, but for a team that haven't conceded a goal in qualification for the period of time we have, I almost have to check myself and think, well, am I barking up the wrong tree here, you know, criticising our backline and goalkeeper and defensive shields?
Just a couple of questions, really, in the sense of the number 10. Obviously, we know, and I'm sure you've asked about it before, about the whole Bellingham, Foden and Kane obviously can't all play in the same team. But when you look at the options that Thomas Tuchel has in that number 10 role, he's preferred now for Jude Bellingham to start this game. Do you think come the World Cup, Bellingham will be the number 10?
What he's done, he's got a structure of those midfield three. He said, if you're going to be the deep line holder, you've got to be a deep line holder type of player. So I'm not going for quality, or I'm going for someone in a specialised position, whether it be Walton or Anderson as it is at this moment in time. Declan Rice is a given. He can drop back and be one of two holders, or he can surge forward. And for me, he's the first name on the team sheet, without a doubt, Declan, because... and I include Harry Kane in that statement as well, by the way.
Go on, Stuart.
And the Bellingham role, the number 10's up for grabs, but it's got to be either Foden or Palmer or Bellingham or Rodgers, and it's down to them to fight it out between them, because the balance of this team looks really good. The two players in the width have to be wingers in my eyes, because Harry Kane hasn't got the mobility, so we need two players on either flank that can go past people and have got a little bit of toe as well. So Bellingham, I think, will be a starter come next summer. But what he's done, the manager, he's sent out a brilliant statement to him and said, look, I'm picked you, but I've left you on the outside of it, which gives the rest of the squad, you know, it makes them sit up and listen here and say the manager's true to his word. And he's also give Bellingham a pat on the back by saying, well, come on then, go out and play. There's enough rope. Are you going to hang yourself, or are you going to be one of our better players, what we think you are?
You know what, Stuart? I think with the Bellingham situation, it's easier for Thomas Tuchel to flex his muscles when you're playing teams that you know that you're going to beat. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm the boss, right, this is what you're going to do. And when Bellingham come on against Serbia, I think he played like someone who went, you can't afford to leave me out.
He did come on with a good attitude, but what I would say this, I'll throw this back at you. If we go to the World Cup and we're not a united team, for whatever reason, we ain't coming back with a trophy, I can assure you of that.
Yeah, I agree, but I think with Bellingham, I want players with edge. I want players that will give you that different... You know, you said about Declan Rice. If he doesn't play, we don't win the World Cup. I think you could put Harry Kane in there. I think you could put Jude Bellingham in there. I think you put Mike Gurley in there. There's certain players. I think there's 5 in the England team that if one of those isn't fit, we don't win the World Cup. But if all of them are fit, then we've got a hell of a chance.
Yeah, listen, the players you've just mentioned there, I totally agree with your statement that you made, but listen, I've been in the hot seat as a manager. I'd rather go out with 11 players on that pitch I know I can trust. You know what I mean? And they might just get me over the line. It's not always your best superstars, and we've seen that by trying to shoehorn Foden in the team, Bellingham in the team, Cole Palmer in the team. It don't work. I think we've got a lovely balance to what we got now, and the squad know there's one place and one number 10 up for grabs, and you've got to be the best player in that position. If not, sit on the bench and come and have an impact. That's what a team is all about.
Stuart, I know you already touched on the fact that there's no Danny Welbeck in this team, and there isn't really much of another option when it comes to the number 9 in this current England squad, although maybe a Marcus Rashford. Always thought Phil Foden play as a false number 9 when he came on against Serbia. Are you surprised in any way that Harry Kane is playing this one? I know he's the captain, I know he wants to score goals and continue to break records, but do we not need to see something else as another option?
Well, you could say, I mean, I know Pickford's not playing today, but for year upon year, when we've had a friendly, Pickford always played, and we've always sat in the commentary box and thought, what's he played him again for? You know what I mean? I think there should be a pride. Harry will want to play both games, there's no doubt about that. And when asked the question, did I think Harry would start tonight? I said yes, I did think he would start tonight. I would be more surprised if he didn't. You've also got Jared Bowen who could fill in, running the point position as well. So you've got Rashford on the bench, but listen, we're chatting about certain players that are not in and around it at the moment, and Danny Welbeck's done brilliantly at this moment in time. I get that. But listen, Harry's going to be the starter come next summer. Fingers crossed. If he's not, we've got a bit of a problem. And the manager at this moment in time is not convinced by anybody else that is a recognised centre forward that is English to lead the line instead of Harry, or put any pressure at all on Harry for his place.
You know what? There's one manager out there who's looking at that selection and going, really? Do you really need to? Vincent Kompany. He's looking at it going, Harry, do us a favour, mate. Just at the end of the first half, just say you've got a little back twinge, get yourself off and get yourself back to your lively.
You know what, mate? England's more important than Bayern Munich, United, Man City.
I love it.
England is the most important. And the clubs, they don't realise it, the clubs have been set up around the world to feed
just for the national teams.
Just for the national teams.
See,
and the national pride of each country. You might not know that. How come it's only me that knows that? It's astounding.
You know, it's always the wrong person to have this debate with, because you know what's going to happen.
I'm looking at it going,
I love it.
Declan Rice, get him off lively.
And
Get
Stuart
yourself
says,
back. Big game on Sunday.
Stuart says and thinks the complete opposite.
Listen, 1 million people will get excited if Arsenal win the league this year. 60 million people will get excited if England win the World Cup. Stick that up your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Gunner.
It hurts too much in my blood, Stuart. It hurts too much.
Stuart, love it. Listen, enjoy, Stuart. Thank you.
Take care,
Cheers,
everyone.
Stuart.
Good to talk to you.
Sounds like
Take
the
care.
atmosphere is great out there as well with all that music playing. By the way,
To be fair, it was the wrong person to talk about, wasn't it? Club
completely. You got to pick and choose. You chose wrongly there.
No, but I thought if I was going to have that debate, Stu's the right one to have the debate with.
Yeah, indeed. By the way, okay, Portugal 8-1. They lead Armenia. Fernandes has scored a hat-trick, and João Neves now has completed a hat-trick as well. And Ireland are back in it. They need one more goal. I say one more goal. It could be more, but they need to win this game in Hungary. Troy Parrott, yet again, has scored to level things up.
Is he purple parrot at the moment?
He certainly is.
He got another brace. And I said that they need to stay in the game, didn't they, at 1-1. It's 2-2 with 10 minutes to go of normal time, 9 minutes to go.
This is when it starts
This is when it could get nervy, exactly, in Budapest. We can feel the nerves from here. So just hoping that the public line obviously can nick a winner.
Indeed. We'll keep you updated on how it all pans out. But we know Portugal will seal the group, and it's a shootout, basically, between Hungary and Ireland as to who will secure that playoff spot. OK, this is the Sunday session. Don't go anywhere, as we'll continue to build up to Albania against England, which is not far away in terms of kick-off. But this is the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
say she's crazy, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues.
Oh, some cracking tunes that you helped pick us for the sounds of the weekend. That first one, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes by Paul Simon, was Elliot in Peterborough selection for our England shoe story.
Just have to pull him up on technicality. They're on the inside of the soles of the posh Crocs.
I mean, you are taking it to the extreme there. Elliot was helping us out with a cracking tune there. And the second one was the OJs for the Love of Money. That was from Tim in Stoke-on-Trent, and we appreciate all of your contributions today.
That always makes me think of Donald Trump. Because it's The Apprentice, wasn't it? When he was first doing The Apprentice. People forget that he did The Apprentice first, didn't he? He was in.
I know. So brilliant. Thank you for getting involved in our Sounds of the Weekend here on the Sunday session with Perry Groves and Natalie Sawyer. We've got to check in with the North London derby in the WSL. Angelina Kelly.
It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. A quiet second half from Spurs so far. Rene Slagers has made two substitutions for Arsenal, though, bringing on Taylor Hines at left-back for Katie McCabe, who was on a yellow card, and Beth Mead has made way for Olivia Smith, who has had an immediate impact, dribbling the ball into the box on the right-hand side beautifully, cutting it back from the byline to Stina Blackstenius, but her shot went sky high and over the crossbar. But since then, we've seen Smith dancing into the box on numerous occasions, even having a shot at goal, which hit Spurs goalkeeper Lisa Kopp. The Arsenal £1 million signing is looking very dangerous indeed. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0.
Angelina, thank you. And we're keeping across what's happening in the game between Hungary and the Republic of Ireland, with Troy Parrott levelling things up in the 80th minute. They're in now in the 87th minute. 2-2 it is. That's enough for Hungary to seal a playoff place. It has to be all or nothing for Ireland, but they can't even get out their own half. It's all been Hungary since that second goal.
Yeah, it's been corner after corner. So Kelleher's just going to launch the ball from a goal kick. So they've got to make sure they win the first one, win the second one, and see if they can create a little bit of havoc.
Yeah, indeed. We'll hopefully be able to run you through what happens in the closing stages, and if indeed it finishes during our show as well. But we're going to quickly look back on this team news that was announced for England as they take on Albania in their final World Cup qualifier. All things done for England, of course, as they book their place. 7 changes. What do you make of those changes?
Yeah, I get it. I don't get why Declan Rice is playing, I've got to be honest, because you know what he can do.
Oh, you're in protective mode again.
Yeah, no, obviously, Stu, we're different ends of the spectrum. You know, when Stu said like 1 million people for Arsenal would celebrate and 60 million for England.
Yeah.
But when you really support your club, it hurts you if England get beat. Say England got beat in the World Cup final, I would be like really hurt because I want us to win the World Cup final. But that would abate within like a day or 2 days. But if Arsenal get beat in the Champions League final or FA Cup final or the last game we see and don't win the Premier, that stays with me for like 2 or 3 months. Absolutely. Months? Oh, absolutely. Of course it does. Until the season starts again. Really? But that stays with you for the rest of your life because you always remember where you were, who you were with, when how hurt you was with your club.
Do you know what? I get it. I do get that. I'm not saying that I don't, because I'm a fan as well. But I think as I've matured, I've started to realise like it can't be the be-all and end-all for my life if something doesn't go the way that I want it to go. And when England lost the Euro 1996 in that semi-final, is that right, semi-final? Yeah, sorry, my mind's gone for a moment. I cried and I thought, I can't do that ever again. I can't let it affect me that much, even though I have had moments of despair with Brentford, for example. But I've tried to like not get so emotionally attached, although it's quite hard.
England win the World Cup or Brentford win the Premier League? Simple.
I mean, for me, it's Brentford win the Premier League.
Well, there you go. See, club over country.
It is. But I would obviously like to see England win the World Cup too, just because I've never experienced it. Well, I've not experienced either.
But it means more to you for Brentford.
I know, but that is because I do agree with club over country. I do agree with club over country. That's just me. So let's talk more then about this England lineup that he's gone for. And I mean, interesting, you know, he's gone for Gerald Kwanzaa there. Also, as we were hearing, Adam Wharton getting his first full debut for England. Jared Bowen. It's a different sort of lineup going forward with Bowen and Eze that he's gone for. But we know that these two players are more than capable of causing problems.
Yeah, very much so. Jared Bowen, if he keeps his club form up for West Ham, and when he's come on for England, he's always looked very sharp and very lively. So he's the replacement for Bukayo Saka on that right-hand side because he obviously playing left-footed where he can cut inside. He works, he tracks back. Rich Eze is obviously, we think he'll play on the left-hand side tonight, and he'll be up against Anthony Gordon Marcus Rashford. And the goal that he scored against Serbia, I thought he looked freer when he came on for England than what he has planned for us at the moment. He's been okay. He hasn't been terrible. He's been okay, but I think he's getting to grips with Arteta's formula sort of thing and way he wants him to play, where we need him to play free. Dan Burn's the interesting one, because I think if he's fit, I think Dan Burn will go in the squad anyway, because Thomas Tuchel's already said about set pieces. He's already said about set pieces. He's already said about long throws. So obviously he can play at centre half, he can play at left back. I think there's always 2 or 3 when you take in a squad that don't play. But with Dan Burn, he gives you that option, obviously being 6'7", that if you're needing a goal in the last 10, 15 minutes and you have long throws that are being lobbed into the 18-yard box, like corners, free kicks, whatever, he's a really good option to have. Adam Wharton coming in. Obviously, Anderson is probably ahead of him at the moment. So, obviously, he's got a lot to prove. So, there's a lot of players there that are playing, obviously for tonight, but they're playing for their places in the World Cup squad. And with the fans, there's like this thing, are England fans, engaged with England at the moment, with Thomas Tuchel. I just think any manager, because it's such an easy group, I don't think because of the lack of jeopardy, there's not the excitement in these games. So England fans, even England fan, we want them to win, but you're like, okay, you've won. And even with the fantastic record that we've got, not conceding, it's like, all right, yeah, but let's be honest, we should be beating them teams anyway. When you get the friendlies before the World Cup, that's when the excitement will start to mount. That's when fans will start getting more engaged with England.
We await to see who England will play in these March and also June friendlies as well. OK, let's find out what's happening in the Autumn Nations Series match between Scotland and Argentina. Stuart Cameron.
Half-time, Scotland 14, Argentina 0. A couple of tries in the opening half hour, both converted by Finn Russell, gave the Scots the perfect start. Jack Dempsey and Ewan Ashman getting on the scoreboard. Argentina, the closest they've come, 2 missed penalties. Scotland 14, Argentina 0.
Stuart, thank you very much. Portugal has signed off their World Cup qualifying campaign with an emphatic 9-1 win over Armenia to seal their place at the World Cup. It's still 2-2 between Hungary and the Republic of Ireland, and Ireland have had a few chances late on as they try and secure the win that they need to get a playoff spot, but a draw will be enough for Hungary. What do you think is going to happen tonight? Albania, England?
It will be one of those. Albania in decent form, actually. They won the last 5 on the trot. Last game they lost was against us at 2-0.
Tight games. They're always involved in quite tight
games. They don't concede many goals. It will be them defending deep, or low block, as what it's called these days, and be whether we can break them down. And then it will be up to the individual players in the foot. It's like Eze can have a bit of magic, Darren Bowen can have a little bit of magic. Obviously, Jude Bellingham's got a point to prove. So I think it will be, in the end, like a fairly comfortable, after the first 20, 25 minutes, fairly comfortable, like 2-0 win.
That'll be job done then. Perry, it's been an absolute pleasure. It has flown by. It certainly has here on the Sunday session, but the action does not stop here on the talkSPORT network. As on the way next, we bring you live coverage then of Albania versus England. But this has been the Sunday session. It's been a pleasure having you on board with us. Stay tuned then to England as they look to sign off their World Cup qualifying campaign in style.